Welcome everyone to your TWitWoW Quarterly Q&A number 2. This is going to be us answering all the questions that you've been asking us in the second quarter of 2023. And I got to tell you, it's a shit ton of a lot. I counted, John helped me to count. We have 70 questions to answer today. I could not believe how many we got. Thank you to everyone who asked questions this quarter. Very much appreciate all of the love that we've been getting. I do feel like our community really is starting to pop off now. We've got 3 new members of the Discord in the last month alone. It's unbelievable. Really great to see. And John, how you feeling about 70 questions this quarter, man?
I mean, that's massive. Nothing else to say than that. Let's get right to it. What's our first question?
Well, our first set of questions is a complete set of 15 from patron Superblue.
All right. Well, Super Blue, I know he was really conscious about stepping his question quality up because I
Yes.
know last time it was like a lot of teasing questions about Yoshihashi and stuff like that and Kushida. So let's see what Super Blue's got this time. What's his first
First
question?
question. This is from all the way back in April, from April 4th. Superblue asked, with Vince back in charge, can the WWE maintain what they've gained in the last year?
I'll let you answer this one first.
Well, it seems like Vince is getting his hands in a lot more, unfortunately, and it does seem to be negatively affecting the product because we just had this whole this I think it was this past Friday even where you know Vince apparently did a little bit too much and he affected the product and people were pissed about it, and there was this whole rumor that Triple H and Nick Khan were unhappy about it and that there was a meeting between them and Vince. I think it was on Sunday or something like that, Sunday or Monday. So we'll see what comes of that. But then this past Monday, Raw popped a pretty nice rating. It was like 1.95 million. So I don't know. I mean, can they maintain what they gained in the last year? I would say probably. Would it be better if Vince wasn't back in charge? Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. It seems like there's going to be an internal power struggle, but even that might be overstating it a bit. We've already known that internally WWE has been in disarray for a long time. I think this just exacerbates that. So we'll have to see where it goes. I wish Vince wasn't back at all. I wish he was dead altogether so we wouldn't have to worry about these problems. But that's not the way the world works, unfortunately. So hopefully Vince doesn't grab any more power. But I wouldn't be surprised even if by year's end he got complete control back of the company, just because, things are pretty screwy like that. So, next question from Super Blue.
Second question is how would the Intercontinental Championship help New Japan under its current state?
I think you could build more stars simultaneously. I think you could, with guys that are in the upper mid card that are really kind of heating up, but you don't quite want to put them in the main event just yet. Be the perfect thing to strap on them to see what they can do with it. Now, granted, I don't think you always need a championship to get somebody over. I wish we had more compelling non-championship involved storylines really in the entirety of pro wrestling. I think that's another problem that we don't really talk about too much with the current climate of pro wrestling, but I do think it was one of the best mid-card titles in the existence of the entirety of the industry. And I still think getting rid of it was one of the gravest mistakes New Japan has made. So yeah, like I don't care for David Finlay, but if they put the IC title on him, because I'm afraid every day that he's just going to get that main event rub, I'd at least be like, well, it's gross, but at least it's not the world title, So I just think you can really test guys that you're thinking about pushing, or somebody could come out of nowhere and get great fan reaction, and that could be a rocket that you strap to him that you feel like is just enough, but not too much. Yeah, I feel like that belt could have done a lot for him right now. What do you think?
I almost think of it in terms of like the Goto bar. Like we've always felt like Goto was a perfect guy as far as just that dude is the consummate intercontinental champion, right? He's never going to be a world champion. And you know what? That's okay because he's a damn fine intercontinental champion, right? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah.
But you know who else is along those exact same lines as Goto and always should have been along those exact same lines as Goto?
And evil, just to throw a
Evil,
name on.
Evil and
Yeah.
Shingo are the two names that came to my mind.
Yeah,
And they're both former world champions because the Intercontinental title didn't exist.
exactly.
And like, I love Shingo. Shingo's cool. I don't have a problem with Shingo. And even Evil is like, I don't have a fucking problem with Evil. Evil's just whatever to me. He's kind of boring. That's how I've pretty much always felt about him. But like, those two dudes will forever be on the record books now as having held the fucking IWGP World title, which is supposed to mean something.
Yeah. I mean, that lineage is sacred
I
to
feel like
me.
we
Eh,
almost value the IWGP World title more than even Ghetto does, and it's weird.
It is weird, but I hope one day they bring the Intercontinental title back. And I never say never with stuff like that because, belts always seem to come and go in circulation all the time. Hell, for all intents and purposes, Big Gold came back. It just came back in a newer form for WWE. So, yeah, like, I hope one day the Intercontinental title makes a comeback, but I'm
And you
not
know
holding my
what?
breath.
Alex, or not Alex, I love you too, Alex, but Abel said something also relevant here. New Japan now has so many goddamn title belts that it just feels like that belt never should have. I mean, think about it. They have the KOPW title, the US title, the fucking TV title. How many titles are they going to try and invent now to try and fill the void left by the Intercontinental title?
Which, like, that begs the question, why haven't you just brought back the Intercontinental title at this
I'm
point?
saying, right? You could pick up the lineage where it left off and everything. You could just say that it was vacated for all these years. It's fine. We'll pretend it never happened. I'm okay with that. I'll look the other way.
Yeah, you could have done like a huge tournament and like had the finals at Dominion or some shit, and that
You
would have
know,
been fucking dope.
Ghetto, I've heard that there are legitimately women out there who believe that the sexiest trait in a man is when he's willing to admit his mistakes.
Yeah, yeah, you know what you have to do, Ghetto. You know what you have to do.
Yeah.
All right, next question from Super Blue.
What has been happening to DDM since Julia has become world champion?
It's been falling apart because it can't handle the gravitational mass of her ego. Um, yeah,
Oh god, she's putting my Sakurai on far too much of a platform. Is really the best answer I can give.
yeah,
And
that's
Micah
the
is
thing.
surpassing her.
Yeah, Micah is surpassing her hard, and this won't be the last time we talk about Micah in Q&A because I did see the last minute questions we got.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, I really feel like the problem with DDM from the outset was it never, even though the catchphrase was "Women of the World Unite," it never felt like those women in this world uniting. It felt like everybody form a line behind me, as in Julia. And we know this because when Micah and Himeka won the goddesses belts, rather than Julia being happy for them and finding literally anything else to do, paired up with Shuri to take them from Micah and Himeka, she wounded her own faction for the sake of her own ego. And, now I feel like she's just kind of hit a standstill where I don't really care for the group. I mean, that's a subjective thing. But her, Tekla, and Sakurai are artist champs. Micah, again, is drifting. And, like, with her drifting, I'm sorry. For as good as Julia is, and make no bones about it, she's brilliant. I think it's the weakest faction in Stardom.
I agree.
Maybe even the weakest faction since we've started watching Stardom, period. And like that's tough. So yeah, that's what's been happening. I think Julia never really knew what it took to be a faction leader. And you know who she has that in common with? Tamantha. It's almost like if you look past each other's hatred, you could be best friends or something, which now that
Bro.
I think about it would be horrifying for everybody else. So
Yeah.
please don't do it.
Oh god.
Um,
I'm glad that it's AEW doing the like strange bedfellows tag tournament and not Stardom because I feel like Tam and Julia would end up in a tag team and they just dominate everyone.
They would. I mean, eventually, I think they'd implode because again, they're too solipsistic. They think they're the only things that genuinely exist in the world, and everything is just a manifestation of themselves. But yeah, like I'm telling you, I keep saying, and I've been saying this, I want somebody in Stardom to just almost be Naito-esque and go against the mores and conventions of the promotion that they're in. And I want somebody to come in and be like, I don't need a faction. Having a faction implies weakness. Now, obviously, eventually, you have them do an about face about that. But I would like for a good year, even somebody to just be like, I don't need this. And I feel like Julia would be another great candidate for that because do you need a faction? I mean, honey, you could just get a mirror and have the same experience. Like, it's really not that hard. So, yeah, Julia's ego is what's wrong with DDM in my case. Do you have anything you want to add?
Not to that. No, I can't say anything else.
All right, next question.
Um, Mark asked if they teamed up at a Wrestle Kingdom. If they did, it was a while ago because they didn't. Because this year was Tam defending or challenging Heidi for the IWGP Women's Championship, and I don't think they were together last year either, but I don't know for sure. Anyway, moving on. Fourth question from Super Blue: how would you rank all the factions in Stardom based on the first half of 2023?
Hey, you go first on this one. It's kind of a perfect segue from the last question talking about factions and stuff. So,
Well, I'm going to agree with John that dead last is DDM, but I like to generally try and think in terms of like first to last. So I'm going to say first place. Uh, God, this is I don't. Are we going by like kayfabe, like accomplishments, like how dominant the faction has been? Because if that's the case, it's easily God's Eye. But if we're going by preference, I would say number one would be Club Venus for both of us.
yes. When I heard the question, I always assume they mean like kayfabe accomplishments. That's always my
Okay,
default
so yeah,
assumption.
so then God's Eye won. Um, it's really hard to put any faction other than Cosmic Angels at two because of fucking Tamantha.
Yeah, who's pretty much dominating everything right now.
And even then, didn't Meltier come into the year as tag champs?
Oh, they came into the year as it. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So Meltier come into the year as tag champs. They lose them. Neither one of them has any titles for a few months, but then Tam wins the white belt and then the red belt in April, and then the white belt like a month and a half, 2 months later.
Yeah,
So like maybe Cosmic Angels is even one, honestly.
yeah, I could see a case for that. I could see a case for that.
I think because God's Eye at least has the goddesses belts going on for him.
And Mirai won the Cinderella tournament this
And
year
the
again.
Cinderella, that's true too. I kind of want to say Oedo tie 3 though after them.
Yeah, they did get the high speed title. Kid got the new blood tag titles, and they've been and Rena got the future title.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've been kind of flexing too. So I think Ototai at 3 makes sense.
I would say QQ at 4 mostly because Kamitani held the white belt for most of the year and Azumi was the high speed champion for most of the year so far.
Yes,
Not to mention it's fucking Utami. Like how can you deny that?
of course.
Club Venus, I will put at 5 though because Mina did hold the white belt, and that's more than anyone in either of DDM or Stars can say.
Yes.
And then Stars, and then DDM.
I think I'm not going to challenge your ranking at all. I think that's perfect, top to bottom.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Next
I
up
think I'll
is
post
your
it.
question, John. This is just for you. If we're in the late/final stage of capitalism, what comes next?
I feel like I answered this already. I answered this in the last Q&A, I thought. I'll reiterate it. Fascism. I have no hope that we're going to turn the tide of the age of reaction that we're seeing right now. Today, we saw that religious workers got added protections from the Supreme Court. Now we'll see if that extends beyond Christianity. I know that's a point that Gala, shout out to Gala, love you, had pointed out. I highly doubt it. I think it may start, but that in turn will get reaction itself. Why are we capitulating to the Muslims? Kind of bullshit. But affirmative action got struck down today. And it would just keep rolling things back. I'm not here to peddle vacuous optimism. If optimism is going to be anything, it has to be in the streets. It has to be action. It has to be concrete. Now we have people, of course, always organizing, always fighting, always agitating, even in deep South states, which is why I am trying to avoid, and I would like other people to try and avoid when we're having serious discussions about this, to paint any state with a broad brush, like, oh, Texas is full of this, is Florida full of this. Every state is a grassroots movement that's progressive in its character or leftist in its character. And so you've got people fighting this stuff every day. There are boots on the ground for progressive causes.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it. It's just we have to also be honest, and we have to have the tough conversation that the forces of reaction are incredibly strong and they hold the court. I saw something today that Biden put out a quote that he's still not considering expanding the court because he doesn't want it to, quote, become too politicized. As if it's not too politicized literally right now. I mean, yeah, that's a perfect reaction
Oh
there
my
too.
god.
Um, so no, I'm not gonna rant and rave and yap at the mouth and all that crap because that doesn't do anything. But I am always going to be honest with you guys. It's not a good time right now. And you asked me what comes after capitalism. When you look at the environmental degradation, the Canadian wildfires, I mean, my mother has said that the air quality in PA, I mean, Ashton, you live in PA. She said it's still freaking awful. I'm guessing she
Oh
goes
yeah,
to
we went
work.
out today.
Yeah.
It was very smoky outside. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, like that's abhorrent. You can either have a healthy and clean planet or you can have capitalism. You can't have both.
No.
But then the eco fascists will come in and say, oh, of course you can. You just need to get rid of all of them. And their eyes will narrow at literally everybody that doesn't look like them or share their experience. And the thing is, again, being honest, when you've got internet leftists that are terminally online LARPing and laughing at the reactionaries and this and that, oh, can you believe Tim Pool tweeted this? The reality is Tim Pool and people that think like him, they're winning right now. They're winning right now because you look at the ideological gains they've made. Roe v. Wade was repealed. I haven't seen like any turnbacks at that. Trans bans are like proliferating wildly. Some courts have struck them down, but you watch. We know how this works. They struck down the bills and stuff in their original wording. They'll rework the wording, maybe peel back some legislative measures, and then they'll get it passed. And then Biden will pat himself on the back. Do you see what happens with bipartisanship when people listen to each other? Yes, Joseph, I do, and it's awful and it's horrid. Yeah, it's a bad time. We are definitely in a steep reactionary period. Politics is a clown show. I saw CNN last night tweet the viral video of RFK Jr. working out and talking about his abs. If that does not make you just utterly facepalm and ask what the fuck we are actually doing here, I don't know what does. So, Super Blue, respectfully, because this was a good question and you did nothing wrong, even though, again, I swear I answered this last Q&A. I'm telling you guys, like, be careful out there. I told Angel when he came up to visit with his girlfriend, they live in Florida. Abel lives in Florida. Abel can attest to. I told him, if you ever need to get out of there, call me. I don't even know if I'll have a lot of money if that call ever does come. If I have 2 pennies to rub together, I would part away with those pennies for his sake. I'm telling y'all, be fucking careful right now. It's not good. And I don't mean to be melodramatic or hyperbolic. And I'm sure some voice will come in and be like, oh, it's not all bad. And that's true. There are good things happening all the time. That's absolutely true. But the bad things are really bad. Like affirmative action being struck down in the same period as Roe v. Wade. Like we have to see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
The political and social clock is being turned back. And we have to fight for the gains that we've made, not just through protest, but through genuine civil disobedience and maybe beyond that. um it's wild, but yet we give so much coverage. I don't even know if we got a question about this. We probably did, maybe. But you think about Ocean Gate recently. A billionaire makes a flimsy ass tube and then gets wall-to-wall coverage like, oh, the search for the submersible, even though it was just imploded within 30 milliseconds of getting too deep into the ocean. But we expended all this effort and resources. Meanwhile, refugees, who are only refugees because of the political actions we've undertaken, die on boats trying to cross over into safer lands. And yet we dehumanize them and we other them, right? I've heard newscasters call them a swarm. I've heard people just, on the far right very blatantly call them vermin and other things. But no, let's expend everything to find a submersible that a billionaire could have very easily made safe and not put his own son at risk. But oh, he wanted to be an innovator, and being an innovator means taking risk. We live in a clown show right now, honestly, and it's really disgusting and it's very fatiguing. And the biggest credit I give is to everybody striking. Like one positive thing, right, is the writers' strike. But how do we know that they're even going to get what they want? If it's anything like the railroad strike, right, with the railway workers, some other arbiter could come in and be like, that's enough. People need their entertainment. They're not being distracted enough or whatever. You're going to take this deal. Get back to work. You know, we just need to learn collectively to say no. No more bullshit. I can't well, I shouldn't even say I can't believe what affirmative action did, because of course I can believe it. Of course I can believe it. And I can guarantee you the student loan ruling that they have, I don't see that going our way either. And that's disgusting for all other host of reasons. So yes, there are good things happening. There are people fighting, but we need to be honest that we're not just fighting any one person or any singular ideology. We are fighting whole institutions. And that's a completely different thing because when you fight institutions, what you're essentially saying is the current social framework, the current economic order, social order, political order, everything needs to just be transformed top to bottom because life cannot be sustained under these current orders. Period. Go like if you're near the Canadian wildfire, go outside, look for yourself, and tell me if the same orders that created that can truly sustain life long term. Everybody knows it can't. But the people that profit from it have co-opted all the institutions and the conversation and everything else, that it's an overwhelming battle. So Super Blue, I wish genuinely that I could be more honest and say what comes after is communism, is a revolutionary force. But there has been nothing going on in the US, even in spite of the fighting that I know is happening and the groups that I know are coalescing and solidarity and networking. Even in spite of that, I still say fascism absolutely, absolutely is coming. And I just want everybody that I care about to take care of themselves as best they can. And I can only hope that, we get through it. But fascism isn't exactly something you get through if we've studied our history, not without a hell of a heavy freaking price. And it's scary. So that's all I've got to say about that. Do you have anything you want to add?
No siree.
All right, then. Well, next question.
This one's for both of us. And I actually want to answer this first. So Super Blue said, is Joe Biden enough to stop Trump, DeSantis, or other Republicans from winning in 2024? And the reason I wanted to answer this first is because Joe Biden isn't going to stop fucking anyone. The people who vote are the ones who stop those ghouls from winning the elections.
Yeah.
And is Joe Biden a good enough candidate to prevent people from voting for Trump and DeSantis, et cetera, et cetera? He shouldn't be, but he is, yes.
Uh, Here's what I'll add to what Ashton said because it was perfect and it was succinct. I would also say that we have to understand too that there is a difference between DeSantis and Trump and the ideologies that they personally embody per the votes that they get. Because even if they don't win, the ideology separate from them will continue to grow. I've seen enough countries with their like democratic elections or their parliamentary elections know that when certain like far right or whatever kind of parties don't do well at first, they hit the grind, it starts paying off. For example, Germany won a local election, the I think the AfD party, which is like a far right party. They used to do so poorly, but recently, because of just all the events of the world, and given that, again, we are very much in an age of reaction, of wanting to turn back the clock, of romanticizing a pastoral past that never existed, their numbers have started shooting up to the point where they won a local election. So I think the better question, Super Blue, even though I understand why you asked that question, is how long can you stave off the tide of reaction here in the US? Because you can turn back DeSantis and Trump today, and by today I mean the next election. But what about 3 election cycles from now? Because everything underneath them, everything that undergirds these candidates, the ideology that's supporting them, that's not going anywhere. They're getting fresh recruits and people are becoming more and more emboldened every day. So 3 election cycles from now, what kind of far right candidate could actually be positioned to take it all the way? I do have my questions about that for sure. And
Bro,
and
I'm going to tell
maybe
you right now, I think that if Tucker Carlson decided to throw his hat in the race and really went after it, he would have more of a shot than either one of those goons.
I agree with you completely. I agree with you 1000%. And we see Carlson is still doing the same stuff. And he's just doing it on Twitter now at the behest of Musk. And he's like, oh, I didn't pay Carlson. Yeah,
He's
bullshit.
just not
Uh,
talking about Russia anymore.
Beg pardon?
I said he's just not talking about Russia anymore.
And even that's not necessarily true because on his first episode he still talked about Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, which in turn ties back to Russia.
Ah,
So and he did comment on Zelensky's quote Jewishness. So Carlson hasn't changed, just like we all feared he wouldn't change. In fact, if anything, I'm more scared now because now he's not even beholden to like. Well, maybe he is beholden to FCC regulations, but I have to imagine that he's got a longer leash on Twitter than he did on Fox. I'll put it that way. And that's horrifying. So yeah, Super Blue, I get what you're saying, 100%. But I think people need to think more long term. Biden, I don't even want to get into every problem with him because we'd be here all day. Biden, yeah, is a stopgap. but we need so much more that's just not coming together right now. And really, the only thing I think about, but see, this is accelerationist logic, and I've never played into that as a leftist, is how many how many provocations can the right wing courts and etc. make before there is a bite back? Because now it's affirmative action, right? And then what if student loans don't go the way of people that really need them, which I don't think it will.
No.
But, I've also come to realize, again, being honest, the level of tolerance is always higher than you think it is. And that's pretty tragic because given the provocations we've already tolerated, it's like, well, what even is a limit? What is it to even speak of a limit? So yeah, I agree with Ashton 100%. I just need to tack that on because I've seen in a lot of countries like France and Germany, even when the candidates of the parties that represent the worst interests for the general public don't do well at first, they grow. And they grow just like a cancer, even if it's slow growing cancer. It grows and it proliferates, and pretty soon it gets the power that it hungers for. So, just a thought there. Next question from Super Blue.
Is just for me. He said, "How do you feel about this year's NFL draft?" Oh God, this is such a big question. Let me actually pull up their Wikipedia page real quick. How do I feel about this year's NFL draft? Optimistic for the Panthers. Um, Believe it or not, optimistic for the Falcons. Even though I don't feel optimistic because of the fact that they drafted Bijan Robinson, it's more that they're just in a really shitty division and they're probably going to do well despite that. Loved the Seahawks class. I think they did a really good job. Really strong class with Devon Witherspoon and JSN in the first round. Um, I don't really know how much else I can say. I hated the Detroit win Jahmyr Gibbs at 12. Thought that was a horrible pick. Um, I don't really know what else to say, man. If you have any specific questions about the draft, just put it in the chat and I'll answer it directly to you then. But it's really a vague question, and I don't want to waste too much time blathering on about the draft, so I'll just kind of leave it at that. And again, if you have any specific questions, go ahead and ask, and I'll answer as we go. Next questions for both of us. Why have people stopped talking about net neutrality, and why didn't the Democrats fix it when they had the House and the Senate?
Oh God, I feel like all the political questions. Again, that doesn't mean they're bad questions, but I feel like the answers kind of all meld together. Because Democrats aren't really all that different from Republicans, and
Thank
like,
you. That's literally.
yeah,
Listen, Super Blue, this is what we need to establish here. The Democrats and Republicans, here's the difference, all right? The Republicans will punch you in the face and then smile and say, "How did you like that, motherfucker?" The Democrats will punch you in the face and I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. They both punched you in the fucking face.
if anything, when you put it like that, the Democrats are kind of worse, if for no other reason they gaslight you about it. Whereas, at least with the
Exactly.
conservatives, I know how awful they are.
Yeah, like one of
Like, I
them
know
you
who my
one of
enemy
them you
is.
know you want to avoid. The other one is an abusive relationship.
Exactly. Exactly.
Neither one
And
of them is good. They're both bad.
And Super Lou, respectfully, because again, you did nothing wrong. I don't want you to feel bad or anything. But like you asking that about net neutrality, you could swap that out with literally any issue. Like for example, we've been clamoring for universal health care forever. Why didn't Obama do that when we had a supermajority? And when I say we, actually let me run that back. Ain't no we. I'm like Uncle Phil laughing out of the room. The Democrats had a supermajority, right? It's because they don't want it either. Like it's they serve big business, they serve corporations, and that's just against the interest of those donors, of those they're beholden to. So yeah, net neutrality, getting rid of that helps the big businesses like Comcast, for instance. So they're not going to do anything with that. I wonder how many politicians Comcast even owns. See, that's an interesting question that I'd love to know. And yeah, just it's pretty much one political class but just two different shades of whatever color shit, I guess. I don't fucking know. But yeah, that's why. It's a duopoly, especially a duopoly of this nature where there is no discernible difference, maybe except beyond social issues. And even then, I think if anything, this current age that I keep talking about that we're living in, even then you see the social issues aren't even that different either. Because Democrats may be quote unquote pro-choice, but you see how weak they fight, right? When quote unquote pro life wins the day. Like
Dude,
Biden
that's
hasn't
that's
done
the
shit.
thing, right?
Yeah,
The Democrats would rather abortion be illegal so that they can use their willingness to say that they're pro-choice to get votes and
exactly.
donations.
Like, dude, to circle back to affirmative action again, and I'm really sorry that I keep coming back to this, but it just happened today and it's relevant. Like Biden said, quote, I strongly disagree with the court. No, you're the fucking president. Like,
Like, yeah, like
I, I don't
uh,
want you to strongly disagree. I want to know what you're going to do about this.
do you know what the problem is, dude?
What's that?
The fucking ghouls and the fucking grifters on the right. I shouldn't have said grifters because there's an implication there that they don't believe what they're selling. But the a lot of the people on the right genuinely believe in the shit that they are all about. Like they'll say, like, no, I am, pro-life, pro-gun, all that bullshit. They believe in that shit. That shit's real. Like they are hardline right-wing conservatives. They grew up with that shit. They are like Christian evangelical nationalist types. That is actually who they are. Then you get the fucking Democrats, and like they might say, like, oh, I'm pro universal health care or I'm pro choice or whatever the fuck, but they don't actually give a fuck about any of that. They aren't like their spine isn't into that. Like they aren't really behind that shit. They just say it to look nice. They don't really believe in the shit they're saying for the most part. That's the difference. That's why the right is winning because they fucking believe in their shit. And the left, it's all just fucking fruitless. It's just fucking garbage. There's nothing behind it. There's no weight behind what they say. It's just fucking lies to make people feel nice.
I think what you said too, just to kind of springboard off of that, is exactly why like Marxist theorists throughout history talk about the need for genuine class consciousness and solidarity. Like, which is why I feel like there's really no genuine left in the US. At most, we have like a progressive wing, but even that's not like really far left because, again, like you just talked about people that genuinely believe the ideological commitments they made, which is why I'll say it. The right has a better sense of praxis than Democrats do. Like by and large, like look at the shit that they've gotten done, right? And I think undergirding that, per your point, is a lot of people genuinely believe in this shit. So they're
Yes.
able to mobilize and do things that people that only do it for like donations or for content, like, they're like, again, a terminally online, quote unquote, leftist or whatever. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, yeah, this is bad. Donate to my Patreon so we can keep talking about how bad it is. It's like, God, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Exactly. It feels so much more sincere coming from the right, even if it's horrific.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, and that's kind of the horrifying part, right? Is in a way, like, obviously not in an ideological sense, but in the sense of having genuine consciousness about issues. The right understand Marxism, ironically enough, more than fucking liberals do. Because that's what
Well,
it needs. Because when you have a genuine consciousness about the issues at stake, you can't help but be oriented towards actions that, kind of address those issues substantively. So, like, I'll never forget when I read an interview from Castro after he overthrew Batista in Cuba, and the interviewer asked him, "Would you do anything different?" And he said, "Oh, I would use less guys." And he's like, "Really, less guys? Like for a whole revolution?" He's like, "You give me 5 guys that are genuinely committed to the cause. That's so much better than even like 30 guys or whatever that are half-hearted in it or are doing it for other reasons.
yep.
Like you need people that genuinely." And I that has stuck with me, and this was years ago, and it's stuck with me since because he's absolutely right. This is one reason, and I'm glad we can almost put an explanation to that feeling. Until we get a genuine left that doesn't just pander and doesn't just have the great rhetorical
Well, dude, and
flares
that's why the
with these
fucking
issues.
Black Panthers got shit done because their fucking lives were the ones that were at stake.
Exactly, and they had a genuine ideological commitment to what they believed in. And that's why too, by the way, when we talk about intersectional solidarity, Brad Lomax, who was a disabled Black Panther, was able to talk to people of genuine class, racial, etc. consciousness about, hey, the disabled struggle is our struggle because, like, I'm a part of both communities, and how many other Black people are a part of both communities? Helping them helps us, and they did because it was a genuine commitment. It wasn't about, oh well, if we do this, we'll double our news coverage, or we'll do this and that. And it's even worse today. God, when you talk about retweets and likes and like this and that, it's like politics has become a game for clout for
Mhm.
some people. And then other people, the worst people, remember what politics actually is. And it's just, God, it's awful. God, it's so awful. But yeah, yeah, Super Blue. That's just, yeah, that's another thing. And Abel has said twice, we got the squad. Don't, son, I love you so much, but I can't. I can't. Because like the squad's another one. I know a lot of people like AOC, and she's a great speaker and she's very charismatic. I've always gotten the vibe from her that if she got genuine power, she would be an Obama 2.0 in the sense that she would campaign very like left, or as left as this country would allow, but then she would govern more centrist, and she would come back with, oh, Congress needs to work together to get this done and this and that, because it's not just one person, as Biden today has proven with the Supreme Court. It's a myriad of institutions, but they all serve one master: capitalism, corporation, big business. To quote Audre Lorde, you're not going to dismantle the master's house with the master's tools. It's just
The
not going to
thing is,
happen. You're not
I've
going to.
heard AOC actually like spout anti-capitalist jargon before. I've actually heard her say shit that was legitimately anti-capitalist stuff before on like her IG lives and stuff. So I do think that there is some sincereness to her. The problem is, you mentioned if she ever gets real power, that's the problem. She doesn't fucking have any, and neither does anyone else in this squad. No one in the squad has any real power, and the squad's too small, even as a unit, to even have any real power. And they don't have any power.
And that's the thing, but like not to push back on a trivial issue, but like her saying it means literally nothing to me, because Bernie was a great candidate, but how quickly did he fold? Like for Joe, oh, we got to vote for Joe Biden. The same people that screwed him over the second time, and then Hillary the first time when they did. Oh, we gotta get behind it. They don't believe it, dude. None of them believe it. Because I've seen AOC fold on issues related to Palestine and go with Israel when Israel is absolutely an apartheid state that like displaces Palestinian families and massacres fucking innocent Palestinian children and stuff like that. These people, they're all fucking smiling. None of them believe anything. It's us. It's either we take care of each other or nobody does, because they already have people that they're taking care of, and people that take care of them, that is their donor class.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the check. I'll be sure to get that pipeline underway. Oh, thank you for the check. I'll be sure to slide this in my speech. You've said since the beginning, get money out of politics. But the thing is, it's so deeply rooted in there. To me, it's at the point where you can't get the money out of politics without just changing the politics altogether.
Yeah.
Like that, it's
Well, that's the
so
thing,
deeply
right?
entrenched.
Is like asking politicians to vote to get money out of politics. You're asking them to stop paying themselves, basically. It's like that's not going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Be real civil servants, and don't take a salary or whatever, and focus on the public good. Yeah, that'll be the fucking day.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, next question from Super Blue.
Um, how do you feel about the life and careers of superstar Billy Graham and the Iron Sheik? And he did add in a couple of extra questions after that. What did Billy do slash say that was so controversial, and why does Sheik hate Hogan?
Going to be really succinct about this. Never really followed either of their careers. I know when Sheik passed, I watched a really early match of his where he used his Greco-Roman experience, and it was impressive as hell. So I think the dude was a legitimate beast. Iran, again, we know makes some of the best wrestlers in the world, and I'm talking like actual collegiate Olympic wrestlers. Pro wrestlers is a bit of a different story. I don't really know much about Iranian history with pro wrestling, but they make beasts. And Sheiky Baby was a beast. Never really watched anything of Graham, so even beyond the personal stuff that does make him shitty, which even I've kind of forgotten what it is, but I think he's made like weird homophobic comments probably. I think I remember that. I don't know. But never really followed his career either. So yeah, no real comments either way. Ashton, what about you?
As far as Sheik goes, I don't have really anything to say at all. I think that the whole gimmick of him hating Hulk Hogan is literally just a gimmick. I'm pretty sure that's it. Is literally just him being an old school wrestler and never wanting to be out of character in the public eye. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Superstar Billy Graham stuff is just, yeah, like homophobic shit.
Yeah. All right. Next question.
Is for you, John. Are you really going to do a little dance when Vince dies?
Oh, definitely. I might even make an OnlyFans, and my first content will be a video of me dancing, and I might even do a little twerking for you all. I mean, I don't have a lot of ass, but the one that I do have is pretty perfectly toned. So yeah, it's happening.
Nice.
Next question.
The next question was for me, and Super Blue said, "Now that the NFL schedule is out, what are your predictions for the season?" Super Blue, I'm going to actually keep this relatively succinct because I did NFL predictions after day one of the draft, and they haven't really changed much since then. I think that the uh, Bills, Jaguars, Chiefs, Ravens, Browns, Bengals, and Chargers are going to be in the playoffs out of the AFC. And then in the NFC, I think it's going to be the Eagles, Vikings, Falcons, Seahawks, Commanders, Giants, and Cowboys. I think that the AFC championship game is going to be Jags Ravens. Believe it or not, I have one of those two teams beating the Chiefs on the way there. And the NFC championship game is going to be Eagles Vikings. And I think that the Eagles versus the Ravens is going to be in the Super Bowl. And I am hoping that the Ravens win, but it would not surprise me if the Eagles won. I'm pulling for the Ravens, though,
For
because,
my son, I'm going to give all my energy to the Ravens so that he can have the Super Bowl he deserves.
yes, pending Lamar Jackson just staying healthy, the Ravens should be fucking incredible this year. So, next question is for both of us. How do you feel about the Titan submarine?
Hilarious.
You mean
Again,
the Titan fucking empty bottle of toothpaste?
Again, I want to reiterate the only one I feel bad for is the 19-year-old son of the billionaire that made that piece of shit. Um, because he didn't deserve that fate and he felt pressured to make his dad happy because it was Father's Day weekend. I am so sorry. And let this also be a commentary on why it's important to have healthy dynamics with your children and to, not be shitty and let your kids be their own people and not hold that against them because they were never meant to be a clone of you, you narcissistic fuck. But yeah, as far as the billionaires that are like, we're gonna do it, guys. We're gonna go to the Titanic and laugh at all the poor people that drowned and died on the ship. Well, how's it feel now, motherfucker? I I gotta tell y'all, I have been living off of this shit. I had a conversation with my mother literally just the other day, and we laughed about it for a good 10, 15 minutes. And it was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. I think my mother was absolutely stupefied that she kept saying a plastic tube and really thought that was going to take them to where they wanted to go. I think my favorite part of the whole thing, beyond the damning emails, where he was like, listen, I understand that you want to do regulations, but no. And well, we see what happened.
I
I
mean, at
think
a
like
certain point, right? Safety.
safety is just waste. I
I mean,
think
it practically rhymes. Safe, waste, close enough.
exactly.
That
And
sounds like something Rafi would say. Holy shit.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I gotta tell you, my favorite part of the whole thing, and it's a lot for the record, because my God, the jokes, the serious political commentary, etc. And then even the people wringing their hands, but won't somebody think about the wealthy? I think my favorite part of the whole thing by far has just been a woman who shared from her father, who was either like a submarine like engineer, technician, or worked in the Navy or what. And she asked him about the Titan submersible. And he said to her, and this is going to live in my head rent free for probably the rest of the year. And he says, honey, I wouldn't even take that to the deep end of our pool, much less into the ocean. So yeah, yeah, this dude, I really, I'll tell you what I am looking forward to genuinely. I'm looking forward to the critical documentary because I do think there will be one. I don't think it'll be all propaganda in favor of this billionaire. I do think there will be one critical documentary, and that'll be cool to watch. But I am waiting for the Lifetime-esque TV movie that treats this guy like a loving father, and like the wife's concerned, like, oh honey, are you sure? Honey, I have to innovate. If I don't, who will? And just everything. And then
Dude,
the
they're gonna
maudlin
paint
music.
whoever is in charge of regulations for submarines. They're gonna be the heels of the movie.
They're gonna be like closet socialists, and it's gonna be because everything is cultural Marxism now and wokeness. Oh, and yeah, that's another thing. They're going to go after wokeness in this. It's like, oh my God, if only this incessant need for diversity didn't get in the way, they all could have lived. Yeah, because that was clearly the problem. And then when it implodes, which God, I'll want to substitute my own funny sound effects for it. There's going to be like this swelling, overly emotional music. And they might not even go with the implosion. They might take the
No, yeah.
artistic liberty and go the air route.
Dude,
You
I
know?
was gonna say, I'm wondering if rather than showing like what actually happened, which was like getting crushed like a fucking soda can when someone stomps on it in like an instant, if they'll show it like the walls are closing in, what's happening? Why is everything getting smaller? Like they're gonna make it look like really fucking slow and agonizing.
And they're gonna have the father and son be like, "Son, I'm so sorry. No, Dad, I love you. I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere else." When if they would have had a chance to speak, I would hope that that kid would have been like, "Dad, yeah,
Fuck
fuck yeah," and then
you.
it just crushed it. Just leaves him with that one final "fuck you" before he runs. Um, but no, they were gonna milk the fucking shit out of this. But you know what? I knew we were gonna be asked about this fucking tube. Which, that was another that was another amazing TikTok. This guy was apoplectic, like, what is it with billionaires and tubes? And it was, you'd think it was a Jerry Seinfeld bit, but it was so much better because it was actually funny. And I
Damn.
gotta tell you, Super
Jerry
Blue, I might
Seinfeld catching strays.
I'm, and I gotta tell you, Super Blue, am I a sociopath? Yes. But I loved it. I loved it. Yeah, you're right. I loved it because again, especially, you know what? I'm still gonna stand by loved it, but again, if I could just change events, I'd pull that kid out. I'd be like, kid, you don't know it now, but you just did addition by subtraction out the ass, and I would have just let him go on his merry way. But no, with these billionaires being fucking humbled, and now I've heard that some airline is doing like the spacecraft or whatever that'll give people space tours for $450,000 per person. So like,
Bro, have you seen some of the TikToks that have been coming out though? Basically being like, man, that billionaire that went down into the ocean in that submarine was so brave, but Elon would never do it. He's not brave or handsome enough to pull it off. Like, trying to egg Elon on to try and get him to fucking do it.
have you heard that apparently Elon and Mark Zuckerbergers are gonna box? Like that's gonna happen
No, they're
apparently.
not because Elon's mother pulled him out of the fight.
Oh my god!
I'm not kidding either.
Guys, this is going to be a very dated reference because I guarantee you nobody even knows who she fucking is anymore. So I'm probably doing a disservice mentioning her. But conservative commentator Michelle Malkin, who I
Never
wonder
even
what she's
heard of
even
her.
doing. I know she used to have popularity for a time, but there's always a cycle with these fucking people. Um, but and this article, I guess it does live in my head rent free forever because I'm thinking about it all these years later. Because this must have been even, let's see, I'm 31 now, definitely over 10 years ago, I feel like. Welcome, Rotten Butter. Wonderful to see you. But she said, "Oh, there's a big problem facing America, wealth shaming." And like, I think about that. I think about that every day. That there are conservatives that think that wealth shaming is a thing, and we literally need to protect the fee-fees of the wealthy. And I'm just going to tell you all, not even just no, as I usually do, but it makes me want to bully them even harder. Like I really like these people can never be harassed enough. I need you to understand that. I need you to understand that billionaires are sociopathic. Billionaires would kill you if it added 10 cents to their overall net worth. Give them nothing except grief, agony, and harassment because that is all they deserve. This guy, when people are like, guys, can we cool it with the jokes? A man died. I will never joke about the kid. The kid's innocent. The kid was pressured. The billionaire that subjected his son to that, though, I will joke about his rotting ass fucking, well, not even rotting. There's nothing left. It's in the fucking ocean. I will joke about this fucking piece of shit until the end of fucking time. That he will never be off limits ever because no billionaire is. Fuck them. Fuck the whole lot of them because they're actively killing the planet. Do you know why they wanted this to succeed? Not only so they could open up a new industry to do Titanic like tourism, right? They wanted to do it because they wanted cheaper, cost-effective ways to mine the ocean for oil because clearly we haven't been pillaging the earth enough, and clearly there have been no consequences to that already. They're sociopaths. They need to be stopped. And if jokes are the only weapon we have, my mouth will be a fucking Gatling gun, laughing at them until they die. Period. Is there anything you want to add?
No.
There you go. Next question.
based on their booking so far, can AEW sell out Wembley Stadium?
Oh God, I wanted to match your enthusiasm, maybe like no, but I really don't know. I really don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think they can do it? Because I'm skeptical.
I don't think the booking matters at all. They're probably going to sell it out regardless.
Yeah, I think because AEW, to their credit, I guess, still have a name brand where people just find that attractive, and they're like, "Oh, I'll go to an AEW show." And I think the UK
I mean,
just
shit,
loves
our
wrestling.
friend Curtis doesn't even like AEW that much anymore, but he bought tickets. He's going.
Yeah, yeah, and I
I think
think it's
that's the
because we.
perfect example, though, of like, because it's like a special attraction that people in the UK don't get to see very often. If you're even remotely interested in it, you're probably going to want to go.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, really nothing to add. Next question.
How do you feel about the fallout of Fox News and Tucker Carlson getting canned?
Again, hilarious. I'm never gonna weep for reactionary institutions or wealthy people. I will say, like this kind of infighting now between Tucker and Fox. 'Cause I think Fox is gonna try and sue Tucker because of the Twitter stuff. That's hilarious. Like, what did you think he was gonna do? Like, not take the value that you gave him for all that time, like elsewhere? He was easily your most successful newscaster. So you shot yourself in the foot. But again, pieces of shit. So I'm gonna enjoy watching you bleed out. Nothing really more for me to say than that. Anything you want to add?
You see who they're pulling in to replace Tucker now? They finally decided on someone.
I heard from somebody a while back, but I didn't know if they committed to them. Who did they get
Who did you
ultimately?
hear about?
I heard about some woman. I forget what her name
Oh,
is.
no, it's Jesse Waters.
His own mother hates him. And I'm not even joking about that. Like, I've seen segments where his mother texts him that she's so disappointed in him. His own mother hates him. Yeah, that's the draw. Good luck with that.
This dude hates homeless people, I think, even more than we hate billionaires.
That's goddamn. Like, what really is there to say to that, right? Throw them all into the ocean with the Titan submersible.
um, I think our last question from Super Blue is next. Are you ready?
Let's do it. Let's knock it out.
If TwitWoW was a cable news network, who would you have on the team, and how fast could you brainwash this country to make it a better place?
Abel Herrera and Foster, absolutely, because we need cuddliness and beauty on the news network. Um, God, if we could convert Javaris to like communism, like his fiery attitude of like taking no shit would be perfect for like, this kind of network that's kind of Nancy Grace esque, but it goes after reactionaries and be like, slap them upside the head kind of thing. That'd be fucking great. Um, let's see. Dominique, I think, would be a chill guy. He could be like an on the ground kind of correspondent. You and I would be probably doing the main news. I want to give Gala something though. Ooh, Gala could do those special, like in-depth stories, that kind of get their own documentaries on said news network and shit. I think she'd be perfect for that kind of role with her sociological education and stuff. Yeah, I think that's kind of a rough look at what it would be like. What about you? Who do you have on our news team?
I would really want to bring in that dude that you posted a TikTok of named Josh that was talking
Yeah,
about, like, take it one step further, ask the next question. That guy.
yeah.
Big fan of his. He'd be great. Um, I feel like Gala would work really well with Under the Desk News. I'm sure you've heard of them before.
I have. Yeah, I think I've even seen TikToks from them.
Yeah, so that would probably be a good option. Um, I'm sure there are other people that we could bring in. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, it's not a reality. I don't know why I'm saying we'll see like it's a thing, but yeah, I think you covered most of the bases pretty well.
When TWiWoW Island happens, man, there's no limit to what we're going to be able to do.
Are you ready for our next set of questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
These are from Abel.
Let's go.
First question from Abel. If you loved Super Blues questions, can you give me a yeah in your best LA Night voice?
Yeah.
Oh, that was really good. Holy shit. Bro, you just surprised and impressed the hell out of me.
Nice.
Wow.
All right.
Good job. I guess I have to
Yeah.
try one now, huh?
Yes.
I'm gonna pull the mic away from my mouth so that this doesn't like, kill anyone's eardrums. Yeah.
There
I
you
feel like mine
go.
was more stone cold.
Yeah.
All right. Second question from Abel. What's your favorite Pokemon?
God. I have a sadistic answer and an honest answer. No, you know what? I need to
I
keep the
need to
dark.
know both.
No, I need to put the darkness away. That's no.
Wait, is the sadistic answer one that you'd eat?
No, it's Togepi because I always loved seeing it cry.
Oh, that's
Um,
not sadistic. That's cute too.
I guess. Um, Favorite one. I never really had a favorite, Abel, but actually, let me just look it up. I
My
think I
favorite
remember the name.
Pokemon to use in the games is Nidoking. My favorite Pokemon to look at, as far as how cute it is Eevee.
That's a great answer. Eevee is pretty cute. I'm gonna say Kingler because when I was a kid, I thought Kingler was very cool, and then the evolved form was yeah. Well, actually, the previous evolution was Krabby, and then it was Kingler. So yeah, Kingler's pretty sweet. All
Nice.
right, next question.
The size of that claw, though. Third question from Abel. What is your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel monster?
Oh, see, this is a bit easier for me because, well, I shouldn't say that, because I do love the show. I was far more plugged into that than Pokemon. Favorite duel monster. Um,
I have a personal attachment to Kazijin.
oh, nice.
It's one of the three monsters that makes up the Gate Guardian, and the reason that I have a personal attachment to it is because it was like my go-to two tribute monster whenever I was dueling because I actually had it in real life, and it won me quite a few games, believe it or not.
Excellent. I'm gonna say Guilford the Lightning because I love Joey's duel with Merrick, and when he busted that fucking card out and like liberated Gearfried the Iron Knight from the Iron Prison, I genuinely popped. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm like, what the fuck? You can do that? Because I had no idea you could do that until that happened. So I think for the moment surrounding it, I'll say Guilford the Lightning. That was underrated. So he still should have won that duel. I'm going to my grave with that conviction. It should have been Joey and Yugi in the finals, and then Joey freaking wins because it doesn't matter because you know he's going to give Yugi what he needs. The planet would have already been saved. God, should have given my man something. But yeah, easily my favorite monster there. So next question from Abel.
Before we move on, I did just want to say Kazijin is, like I said, it's a two tribute monster. 2400 attack, 2200 defense, but it has a special effect where if your opponent attacks it once while face up on the field during damage calculation on your opponent's turn, so this is only going to work when your opponent attacks it. If this card is being attacked, you can target the attacking monster and make its attack 0 during damage calculation only.
Damn.
So if your opponent's like, I'm gonna attack you with this 2800 attack point monster, you can be like, but Kazijin's special effect though, and then it makes that monster's attack 0. So not only do you destroy it, but you do 2400 damage to your opponent's life points because it, does that.
Yeah. Next question from Abel.
Next question from Abel is, who is your favorite Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super character? I actually can answer this. My favorite Dragon Ball Super character is Beerus. I fucking love Beerus. As far as DBZ goes, probably just Gohan.
Can I just say Vegeta for both?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's
you
in both.
absolutely can, for sure.
Yeah, you know what though? To diversify, I will say Super, I like Vegeta because he is more mellowed out and he become more of a family man, which I think is endearing. But he still has that pride in wanting to be the best and specifically better than Goku. In DBZ, though, while I do adore Vegeta, God, I wanted to vibe with Ultimate Gohan so hard because he kicked ass, and then like he got humiliated by Super Boo. I was about to say Super Blue. He got humiliated by Super Boo, and it's like, damn. So yeah, I'll say Vegeta for Super because I've really enjoyed his arc, and apparently his arc in the manga is still incredible. I just haven't seen that adapted yet. And then for DBZ,
Wait,
I have a lot of
that's
fun memories.
you were just.
Teen Gohan.
I thought you were
What
talking
was
about
that?
DBZ. I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
I thought you were already talking about DBZ, and then you were
No,
like,
no, no. Because I'm thinking about Super again. I'm saying Vegeta because he kind of mellowed out, and his arc in Super, the manga, is going really well, but I haven't seen that adapted yet. And then I'm thinking about DBZ, and I think I'll say Teen Gohan for DBZ, just to kind of switch it up a bit.
nice. Yeah, no, dude, Beerus is my favorite character in the entire history of the Dragon Ball franchise, period. I fucking love
Nice.
Beerus. He's amazing. I love his just actual character design. Like he looks like a fucking Sphinx cat, like a purple. Like first of all, purple's my favorite color, which just immediately clicks with Beerus. Second of all, he looks like a Sphinx cat to me, which is just adorable. And third of all, I love his American or English, I should say, voice actor, and I even love his Japanese voice actor. He just works for me on every level.
Oh, actually, can I make another mention since you mentioned different voice actors?
Yeah,
Um,
Frieza, Japanese Frieza.
subbed Frieza, that fucking laugh is god tier. If I could genuinely laugh like at that, I would laugh at everyone, and I mean everyone, with that laugh until I died. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Beerus is my dude. DBZ though, yeah, I can't really think of anyone that I'm super passionate about. But I do remember being a big fan of Gohan when I was actually watching Dragon Ball Z live, like every time it aired. I was really into Gohan. I liked Gohan a lot.
Nice. Next question.
What's your favorite Matthew McConaughey movie?
Um, Abel, I'm gonna cheat on this one because I don't think I have a favorite Matthew McConaughey movie, but my favorite thing that he's been in was True Detective season one. Fucking love True Detective season one, so
Oh,
that's gonna be what I submit.
nice.
Do
I
you
kind
have a
of
favorite
love
Matthew
that.
McConaughey? Yeah. Do you have a favorite Matthew McConaughey movie though? If you could.
Do I? Well, I have one in mind. Let me see if I can find another one that's even better. I think I'm just gonna say. Let's see. Is there another one? No. Um, Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, he was in that, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
He played Tug's manager, and he was hilarious in it.
Wow. That happened.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Next question. This is gonna be pretty much just for you because I don't eat fruit. But it was, what's your fave five fruits?
Grapes, 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 grapes. But now to answer it seriously, grapes are number one. In fact, there are grapes that I haven't touched yet for like 2 days. I got to eat some tonight. I'm like craving them because I
Your
always,
willpower is incredible.
I know mainly because I want my family to always like have a share first. Because if it was up to me, I'd eat them all. Um. So yeah, grapes. I will. Here's the thing, guys, and I don't want to be long-winded about a fucking fruit question. Our grocer where we get fruit, the produce a lot of the time sucks ass. So thinking about fruit when it's actually fresh, it's actually a very tight competition for 2 through 5. Because I've had oranges that are amazing, or excuse me, apples have grown on me. I can tell you bananas won't make the list. That's easy. But actually, I'll put it number 2, and this is purely recency bias: pineapples. Because I had pineapples recently. That was the juiciest, sweetest shit I had eaten in a long time. And I'm like, God damn. So pineapples at 2, just for the recency. If I could have it like that 2 or 3 more times, it'll be a firm number 2. I'm gonna say strawberries at 3, because a really good strawberry is also amazing in its own way. Oranges at 4. And you know what? Only because it's rare, but I do enjoy it in summertime. Yeah, Abel. Watermelons, I think, at 5. Watermelons are amazing. I think sometimes the sugar doesn't agree with my system, but I don't care. I'll make a big fucking bowl of watermelon slices and I will go to town. It'll be refreshing as fuck. So, yeah, watermelons at 5. But grapes are god tier, and that end my case. So, there you go.
Awesome.
So, next question.
What marquee matches would you book for AEW All In to help sell out the stadium?
Oh, God. Um, Being realistic and just focusing on the roster. Hmm.
Are we just going to go straight to Adam Cole versus MJF for the world title?
Yeah, we should. Adam Cole versus MJF for the world title. Uh,
What would you say is the second most important title in AEW? Would it be TNT or would it be international?
I would say international at this point, personally. I don't know
Okay.
if people disagree with me on that.
So who's Orange Cassidy defending against at All In?
Is there like a maybe ZSJ? Because I know ZSJ said he
Oh,
wanted it, and it is in Wembley Stadium.
yeah, that's
Um,
true. That's true.
so I think it's also just grounded enough that we can get away with it.
He did
So
kind
yeah,
of just defend it against ZSJ, though it was in a fatal four way with Shibata and I think Daniel Garcia or something like that.
but he didn't eat the pin though, right?
I
So
don't
it's like,
remember, honestly. I barely paid attention.
yeah, that was smart. Um, I'll still stick with it, unless there's some God, but Kyle Fletcher already got a shot recently. Is there any big UK star? Because Will Ospreay just regained the US title, so he's gonna have no interest in it.
God. Man, if only that Walter guy was still around.
What about is Pac injured or something?
I don't know what's going on with Pac, honestly.
Pac would be a good choice because him and Orange Cassidy have a lot of history anyway. So you keep it to AEW and you're building on your own internal lore. So if Pac was available, I'd say Pac. I'm still going to be stubborn though about ZSJ mainly because I can't think of any other options
Yeah,
that would
you
like
know what I
really.
would absolutely fucking love that I don't expect because he's not like a big time known name in the US, but a name that I would fucking love if they would just be like, oh, here's the guy that you're familiar with, UK, Mark Haskins.
Yeah, dude, yes. You know Mark Haskins is that fucking dude that I never really think about him mainly because he's not in like my public consciousness when I'm like watching wrestling media, but when he is, I'm reminded why I love him all over again every time. Him and Cassidy, yeah, I think could have a fun matchup because they're trying to make Cassidy more of a serious wrestler, I guess. And Haskins would definitely help him get to a great match. There's no fucking doubt in my mind. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Love that idea.
Okay, so what about our TNT Championship match? Right now,
Uh
the current champion is Luchasaurus, but that could change by then if you really wanted it to.
No, dude, like, because ideally, again, since we know that Christian's kind of pandering, like he's the TNT champion, but he lets Luchasaurus do all the work. Luchasaurus versus Keith Lee. Just give us the freaking talk.
Hell
Like,
yeah!
yeah, it's not that hard, bruh. Like, come on. Um, I'll even say too, while we're at it, tag titles, I would just have FTR go against Cage and Swerve. Like, I want
Oh,
Swerve
I
to
would
get
love
some moment.
that. I
Yeah,
feel like they're probably gonna do FTR versus the winners of this big fucking. Or no, that's. See, this is where I'm not sure how they're doing this because they have this big weird fucking mixed team tournament thing that they're doing, and I don't know when they're planning on blowing that off. Maybe in July. I don't know.
probably the same time they're planning on blowing me. Jesus
So
Christ.
never.
Exactly. It's never gonna end. That tournament's
Anyway,
gonna go on forever.
um, so maybe God, part of me almost wonders if they're gonna have Adam and MJF win the tournament and challenge FTR for the fucking tag titles at All In, and then they blow up. Obviously, they don't win the titles because they can't coexist, and then Adam challenges MJF for the world title literally the following weekend at All Out.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, I could totally see that for sure.
It would be lame as
Um,
fuck, but I could see them doing it.
yeah, for sure.
But I like your idea of FTR defending against Swerve and Cage. That'd be cool as hell. Or
Do we think?
honestly, if they wanted to build up to that, they could even have them defend against the Gates of Agony, and I wouldn't complain one bit. That'd be great too.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we hope that Jamie just gets healthy in time to face Tony
That would be lovely.
at All In? You know, kind of pencil that in. And then do we do
Statlander defends against Jade. Jade's rematch.
yeah, like Jade Statlander too? Yeah, I'd be cool with that. Yeah. And then can we just stop there? Because this is actually a really easy
I
card to
have
put
one
together.
more that I need to fucking ham fist in here.
Oh, you fist that ham, bud. What is it?
Who are the current AEW Trios champions, John?
House of Black.
Yeah, they're defending against Andrade, Rush, and Raristico.
Signed off. We have a perfect pay-per-view card. We did the impossible. We made AEW compelling. I am not gonna like fight the win. Let's move on to the next question.
What's your favorite thing about cats?
Oh my god, I can answer this now. My baby is so precious. So let me tell you everything about her in excruciating detail. For one thing, she's so innocent. She just wants to love the world and make it her scratching post. And honestly, who has the fucking right to deny her that? I love how fluffy she is. I love sometimes when her mouth just looks all like quizzical, like, what's going on here? And why isn't it for me? I love her beautiful green eyes. I love the little sound she makes when she comes into my room when the door's been closed too long because she loves me. I'm heartbroken at the prospect of having to leave her for a weekend because I've got a conference that I'm hoping will go off without a hitch come September, and I'm just really sad that I'm going to leave her. I'm trying not to think about it too much. That's how much this cat's affected me that I'm thinking like after this, I'm never leaving the house again. Um, I even love like the stinky things, like how her poops are all in little clumpy clusters, and like it's like you could poop in all different areas, but you poop in one area, and that's so considerate. So I just love everything. I love everything about Wookiee, and honestly, when my family tries to give her only a few treats or only a little bit of milk or whatever. I'm just like, give her all of it. Like, why not? So thankfully, I don't run things because I'm pretty sure this cat's gonna live a lot longer under their prudence than my just like, oh, you meowed in a way that like broke my heart. So just I don't know, take the car. Um, but yeah, Wookie is perfect. I love her. I don't think I've ever loved an animal the way that I love her. I have always had a very adversarial, if not just really just distant relationship with animals, including our dog Riddick, who's a very sweet boy. I've got no problem with him, but we've just never really hit it off. Wookie and I, like, I've kissed her probably like 5 times in the course of the day alone. So yeah, and there's probably going to be like 10 more before this day is over because she's my precious baby, and I don't apologize for anything. So yeah, that's what I love. And she's getting so big now.
She
She's growing.
is.
And
She is.
it's everything. It's everything. Cats are supreme. I know now. I know that now. And I'm good now. I'm with the feline order in all of its wonderful furriness. So yes, those are my favorite things about my cat.
Awesome.
Yes. Next question.
Well, this was a both thing because it was what's your favorite thing about cats in general, not about your
Oh
cat
yeah, well you can
specifically.
answer this too. Yes,
Yeah.
we both have authority here now. So yes, what are your favorite things about cats?
So my well, and it is just favorite. Like I think Abel just wanted one thing, but you went off completely.
Yeah.
So my absolute favorite thing about cats is, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this with Wookiee or not, but if you haven't, I hope you get to at some point. Um, if you ever run into a cat that's like really affectionate and you put your hand right out of its reach so that like you know how cats will kind of pet themselves, like if you put your hand in front of their nose they'll kind of brush their face up against your fingers and stuff.
Yes, yes.
So if you do that but you put your hand high enough that your hand is out of reach of them being able to reach it, and then you keep going when they get up on their hind, like they will get up on their hind. Yeah, that's what it is. It's my favorite thing about cats is when they get up on their hind legs to reach your hand to pet themselves.
Precious.
It's
Okay.
fucking adorable. I think to keep it even simpler, my favorite thing about cats is when cats are affectionate. That's really what it comes down to.
Yes.
When cats are very affectionate, I melt. That melts me. Like I've seen videos of cats like will where like a cat will like jump up onto a kitchen counter, and the cat's owner will like come over to it and like reach their arms out, and the cat will get up on its hind legs and like almost like hug the owner, and the owner will just like hold it and bring it up and put it on their chest, and just kind of they'll just like hug each other. It's just the cutest thing ever to me. I just love that. I think cats I've always associated with being more like cold and like independent and uncaring, but when cats really do show affection, that is like my favorite thing right there.
Boom. There you go. That's beautiful.
Next up, what's your favorite thing to happen in the year 2023 so far?
You go first on this, bro.
Huh?
That wasn't just a for me question, right? And I feel like I really went off about cats, so you go
Well,
first on this.
but I volunteer to go first on the stuff that I have an answer for. I don't know what I want to say about here.
Oh well, God, you don't have to take that tone. You could have just said so. Jeez. Let's
Sorry, I'm
see.
not prepared. I'm not prepared. That's all.
Favorite thing in 2023
Has
so far.
anything good happened this year?
Abel, can this be about like us personally or just like, wrestling, like just
Yeah,
anything?
because you got to
Anything?
realize I'm coming off of the worst financial month of my life, I think.
Yeah, it hasn't been a great year for me either, really. But you know what? I will say, even though I know there are other moments, I think the best moment was getting to see Angel again and his girlfriend. They are absolutely beautiful people and I
Nice.
love them. And I'd say this is a chance for me to practice gratitude. I'd say so seeing them has been great. Our podcast growing a little bit has been great. Stardom for the most part has been
Yeah,
fantastic. A
I
few
was
hiccups here
actually
and
just
there.
getting ready to say, I think if I had to pick anything, it might actually just be Mina winning the white belt.
Yeah, Mina winning the white belt. Um, God, I want to say me getting accepted. Angel, I love you too, man. I love you both. Um, I'd want to say me getting accepted to this California conference, and it's true, that is a positive. But my God, did it break my bank? Like I was, I was by my standards rich for like 5 minutes, and it ended so quickly. Kind of a gut punch there, but still, it should be a fun time. Really, the books I've gotten to read, stuff like that. I think any time I've gotten to spend with philosophy will always make any day of any year worthwhile. Um, and yeah, I think that's it. I feel like there was something I wanted to mention for 2023, but it must not have been that memorable because I've forgotten it already. But yeah, it's been a bit of a meh year, but there's still quite a bit of it left. So we'll have to see where it goes.
Okay,
And yeah, you
now that
said
I've
me
had
winning the
time to
white
think
belt.
about it,
Yes.
I'm actually going to say finally getting a psychiatry appointment and getting prescribed ADHD meds would be mine.
Hell yeah. God, yeah, definitely.
It feels
Definitely.
very validating to have an actual professional prescribe medication for something that I've been suspicious that I've had for years, especially when my fucking boomer ass grandma doesn't even believe ADHD is a thing.
You know what? Nope, not gonna go there. I'm just gonna stay in the happiness for you. Love
Yeah,
that for you,
thanks,
bud.
bud. All right. Next question. Is there any chance we could see a version of Luchador Spotlight but with stardom wrestlers? We've thought about that before, actually.
Honestly, if you want to know how much I love Stardom, I think Ash could back me up about this because I've never hidden this from him. I'm at an age now in our TWitWoW career where if I don't have to work, I don't really want to. So it's like, hey, John, you want to do this video? Oh, man, that's cute. No. But when it comes to Stardom, I'd actually be open to it
Yeah.
because I love that roster so much that to be able to geek out about them and talk about their strengths, their weaknesses, and what we hope for with them, yeah, that'd be a video series I'd absolutely love. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely open to that for sure.
All right. Next question. Abel, you know what you're doing. What is your proudest moment as an American?
When the police precinct got burned down that one time,
Oh,
that
in
was great.
Minnesota, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was fucking great. I saluted the burning building. I was like, you do you, bro. So that I would say the Occupy movement was really cool. The railroad strike, very cool. Amazon warehouses unionizing, very cool. Any proud moment I have being on this fucking plot of land due to no will or volition of my own has always been for leftist or left adjacent causes. And yeah, so there you go. Yeah, Abel, you thought I would be like, there's nothing proud to be about this country, but no, I subverted expectations. So in your beautiful face, you have anything you want to add?
God, I know it's kind of weird to say, but low key, I did have a weird sense of pride when we just this most recent election, like PA voting in like the Democratic governor and senator. Like John Fetterman is in the U.S. Senate, bro. Like that's a real thing. We fucking
Yeah,
did it. Like that's real. Like
yeah,
there was that clip of him up there with all the suits, including Bernie, and he's just chilling in a sweater and some fucking gym shorts. It's so good.
yeah,
I love it. And like not just that, but like also like this the fact that there was like supposed to be like this big red wave and like just no, didn't happen at all.
trickle.
Yeah.
It was incontinent.
Yeah, so like yeah, I would say the 2022 election was a pretty decent moment. I don't know if I'd say I was super proud, but like I don't know if I've ever really been proud to be an American.
But don't you at least know that you're free? No, I'm just kidding. God, I even threw up a little, even though I knew that was purely ironic the whole time. Fuck. All right.
You know when I'll be proud to be an American is if slash when the minimum wage gets increased, a UBI gets voted in, universal health care gets voted in, universal child care gets voted in. I'm sure there's more, but you know, it's always going to be baby steps in this country, and those are the baby steps that I would be proud of. That's the ones right there.
Well, that's a very mature and reasonable response. I'm just going to say I'll be proud to be an American when it's established the dictatorship of the proletariat. Communist revolution in the US today. All right. Next question.
What moments in your life led to you becoming a leftist?
For me, it's funny, Abel, because I think about this often. So, okay, here's the thing. The watershed moment, absolutely, was when I learned about Apple's abuses in their supply chain labor force with the Foxconn factory in China, because the working conditions were so horrid that workers were throwing themselves off the building to kill themselves. And Apple's solution to this was to send somebody out, not to improve working conditions, but to install nets to catch the workers so that they don't lose the labor power. Um, and it was so hard. And I read poetry from the workers before they died, and it had moved me so deeply because I was a libertarian at that point. And it moved me so deeply that, yeah, I just went full left. And even before that, I was listening to these anarchist YouTubers, Anarcho Pack. Her name's Zoe. She's fantastic. And Libertarian Socialist Rants. I don't even know if he's still doing stuff, but his stuff was really thorough and great. But yeah, that was radicalizing. But even earlier than that, I've talked about the Shadow Children series with you guys before, which is my favorite YA series ever. And even though I'm sure Margaret Peterson Haddix, the author, is a liberal, and I don't begrudge her for that, she's a wonderful woman and a very talented author. I felt like it had leftist themes. Like there was a book, Among the Barons, where the main protagonist, who had assumed the identity of a rich kid named Lee, he goes home to his parents, so Lee's parents, and they're filthy fucking rich, right? And again, this is a society where population police exist. They kill every third born child and thereafter. So after every second child, you're illegal, you're a shadow child, you have to be exterminated because they talk about food shortage and all this stuff. And you see the opulence in this house. And there's a scene where the kid's real name is Luke, but obviously, again, the fake name he assumes is Lee. Where Lee goes and he talks to the parents, and they're like, "Oh, well, people have been asking questions about the real Lee, and so we brought you back so that we could stage you dying." And then he's like, "Well, what happens when I die for everybody to see? Like, I've benefited so much from having Lee's identity. I've been able to go out. I've been able to make friends. I've been able to have a life." And they're just completely unsympathetic. They're like, "No, you're going to go back into hiding, and if you don't play ball, we're just going to turn you over to the police to kill you." And like something about that just stuck with me. So I think even those books were like the little seedling of my radicalization. And then it took a few years. And then when I just started learning more about like capitalist labor abuses and stuff like that's what fully radicalized me 100%. So what about you, Ashton?
Yeah, really for me it was a lot. Like for me I think it probably started around the age of like 15 or 16 if I had to guess, maybe even earlier than that where I just kind of started questioning religion. Like going against religion was really the first step towards me becoming a leftist because uh I think that just kind of generally a lot of the values of the right are steeped in religion and specifically Christianity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So from the time that I was at the sort of middle teenager, like 14, 15, 16, somewhere around there, was when I really started questioning religion. And I do mean just questioning because it wasn't so much like, oh, I'm an atheist now. It was more like, well, if this thing is true, then how is that thing also true, kind of stuff about religion. And like I had, my friend group, especially when I was a senior in high school, was very Christian, very religious, to the point that one of my best friends, as a senior in high school's father was a fucking preacher. Um, I, um, we used to have conversations and debates almost every day at lunch that were either political or religious in tone, in theme. And then when I went to college, I discovered George Carlin, and he informed a lot of my opinions. I also discovered the Zeitgeist film, which also I kind of, stuck a few toes into the, um, conspiracy theory pool, which thankfully didn't last too long. Um, did you say something, John?
Oh no, I'm sorry. My microphone accidentally moved, so I
Oh, okay.
apologize.
So that was this is now timeline wise we're looking at like 08, 09, 2010, 2011. So this would have been when I'm 18 to 21. And then yeah, like from 2011, which is when I would have been 21 years old, until probably like 2016, 2017, I was just kind of an angry atheist, anti-theist who believed in, who I thought at the time believed in like egalitarianism, everyone deserves, an equal chance and all that shit, but I was still very blind to like the systemic problems, like systemic racism, patriarchy, that kind of stuff. And then over the years with you and talking to you, and then especially like in the late 2010s, I started to kind of learn about that stuff more. And then especially, I would say that 2020 was a really big eye opener, just from like, the George Floyd thing, and the riots and the protests, and the fact that the people that were rioting were the fucking police and all that stuff. Like, the last really like 5 or 6 years, I would say, have been very enlightening for me, and they've really been like the biggest thing towards me becoming a leftist as far as that kind of stuff goes. Because I would say, if you would have just caught me, honestly, John, if you and I would have become friends even like 2 or 3 years earlier, I don't know if things would have turned out the way they did.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the way that I think now is just so completely different, to the point that you could even say that it's opposite to the way that I thought, even as a 25-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for
Even like
sure,
even
dude.
as recently as like 8 years ago.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Which is funny, because of the whole thing, like, oh, our brains stop developing when we turn 25. Like, I am living fucking proof that that shit ain't true.
No, we've known it's not true for a while. Like, in fact, there are some scientists that even say the brain never stops developing, which is
Yeah,
wild to me. Like, what an amazing organ. But
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Next question.
Next question. How important? Oh God, this is 100% related to Fast and the Furious. I feel like, how important is family to you?
Oh God, my sister and Chris are everything to me, and friends, which I'm a firm believer that friends are the family you choose. I've got friends that are like family to me, obviously. Abel, fucking adopting you over here. But my immediate family, beyond my sister and my grandmother, who did recently pass, may she rest in peace. And I did reconcile with my mother like 4 years ago. Got to fill out her birthday card, and I got to remember to do that. I'm really, yeah, yeah. My family's always kind of sucked, to be honest. So family doesn't really mean all that much to me. It's like I told a friend recently. Family is earned. It's not just genetics or biology. Because I know my dad would always try and pull that shit when he was being an asshole. Oh, you can't talk to me like that, or you can't treat me like that. I'm your father. Bitch, no, you ain't. Fucking, treat me with some goddamn decency and respect, and then we'll talk. So yeah, family is earned. And given that I've never really had family in that sense that's really had my back or loved me, with a few notable exceptions, again, speaking purely of immediate family, it really doesn't mean a damn thing to me by and large.
Yeah,
What about you, friend? What does family mean to you?
I'm pretty much of the same mindset. Like, the people that I choose, that I care about, that I love, are, the people. I mean, they're that way for a reason. Like, it's not. I'm not like, oh, you're fucking, God, this is really hard to put into words sometimes. My dad was a piece of shit to me, to the point that he accused me of being happy about COVID. So I
Yeah.
cut his
Jesus.
ass off. I no longer talk to him. This was very early into COVID, like literally like April 2020. And to be clear, that wasn't the only thing that he said. That was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to him since. I don't intend to. I haven't really spoken to anyone on his side of the family since, and I don't intend to. But then my mom, obviously, is my mom and you, John, are the two people that I would say I'm closest with in the world. And then like my mom's mom, who I call Nan, I'm very close with her. And then her other daughter, my aunt, I'm close with her, as well as her daughter, my cousin Ashley, and her kids. That's like my core group, though. Like, those are my people. And as far as people that I'm blood related to, as long as those people are fine, everything else is pretty irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
there are other people that are in my family that I do care about, but like, I can live without. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like that's the tight knit group right there. And then yeah, like you obviously are up there. Abel's up there. Um, yeah, it's not
Yeah.
many. I'm actually like I want to make more friends. Believe it or not, it's weird.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. All right. Next question.
Next question is: when you're sad, what's something that you do that helps you not be sad anymore?
Philosophy for me always. Uh, I have found that I could be down just so hard. Um, and just when I give myself time to connect with what I love more than anything, it always nourishes my spirits. Nothing like a good book late at night. That's always helped me, or listening to a podcast while doing some gaming. I find hiking also helps when the weather permits. God, yeah. I mean, and it's even confirmed by science that hey, if you've got a problem, take a walk because it really I think it just boosts your mind. It's good for the body, and being out in nature, of course, is always a good thing. I'd be out in it now if it wasn't raining all the fucking time. So yeah, that's been a thing. But yeah, that's one thing I love to do. Talking with people, especially if I feel like they've been where I'm at, like the source of my sadness.
Yeah.
It's always good to talk to people that relate to you. And really, another thing that I find journaling. I think externalizing the feelings has helped me a lot. And if, in fact, if anything, it's something I'm trying to cultivate in myself to do more as like a go-to response. So yeah, those are all things I love to do when I'm sad. What about you, friend?
You know what, John? I have actually because my last therapist, I'm on a second therapist now, but the first one that I had actually suggested that I start journaling, and I've actually done it twice now. So I'm assuming I don't do it nearly as much as you because you brought it up as like a coping mechanism basically for when you're sad. But I've done it twice now, and I gotta admit, it's kind of nice to just be able to get your feelings out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, externalizing those feelings, it's a real thing, man. I definitely feel lighter, especially if I like go hard and I'm really like honest in the writing and I don't hold anything back. I
Yeah.
definitely feel like lighter after that, for
Yeah, my
sure.
two main sort of coping mechanisms for when I'm feeling sad are A, distractions, and B, venting. So I either will attempt to distract myself with games or movies or television or whatever, or if it is like overwhelming, I will just try and vent, whether that is talking to my mom or talking with you guys in the Discord, or as I mentioned a couple times in the last few months, I've written it down in a little journal that I have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
All right, next question.
why is Alex Foster so awesome?
I've been waiting for this question. Finally. Okay. Because I have so much to say about this beyond just, everything, which is the simple answer. Um, I love how funny he is. I love how genuinely kind he is. I love how he'll show people love. And even if love is too strong a word, when it comes to wrestlers and things, I love the consideration and the openness he shows people when I wouldn't even give them a glance. Like NXT is a perfect example. I haven't touched NXT. I wasn't a big fan of 205 Live when that was a thing, but Foster always has his heart open to new people and experiences far more than I do. I think he's a person very much in touch with his own feelings. He's very emotionally intuitive and sensitive and healthy. Um, and he's not afraid to talk about things that need to be talked about. Like I know he's talked about men's health in the sense that we don't permit ourselves to feel enough, and he is kind of to me the example. Like he is what he wants to see in the world. As freaking cheesy as that is, I think he lives by what he believes in, and that conviction is so admirable to me. I mean, I could have just been lazy and also added that he's devastatingly handsome, which you can tell because he is. But yeah, he's such a genuine dude. And I think he's just pure love, pure goodness, doesn't like rocking the boat. I mean, there have been times where he's apologized to us for things that weren't even an offense, things that I'm just like, I would have done that. And I wouldn't have even thought to apologize. Like if he asked a question that maybe one of us didn't like, well, it's not your fault. It's just the question, it's just something either outside of our expertise or maybe something that it's like, oh, we were thinking about that recently. And oh God, that's rough. But it's never him. Um, I hope he knows, and I know he's listening, but I hope you know, Foster, how loved you are every day. If by nobody else, certainly by me, and I know everybody here. He is just absolutely wonderful. I would say undoubtedly, unequivocally, a better person than me. And if anything, I definitely aspire to be more like Foster. That's facts. No cap there. Cause yeah, just the way he's able to love people and be vulnerable with people and reach out to people and show them goodness when he needs it. I think, I can learn from that. I think so many people can learn from that. And I just love that he loves unapologetically. If there's an anime or a wrestler he loves it, and he never backs down, or he never feels the need to capitulate to things that could be more overwhelming than him, or pressuring to him. He is who he is unapologetically, as he should be, because he's wonderful and we're all better for him. So that's why I love Foster.
Woohoo!
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
so good at talking about the best in people. I just feel so inadequate.
Oh, that's not true. Hey, love is never inadequate, no matter how it's expressed. So whatever you like about Foster, put it in the pot
But
and
you
let it
already said
stew.
everything I love about Foster. That's what I mean.
Then be like, I agree, but do it with like joyous emphasis.
Well, I think I just did, didn't I?
I guess you did. So we agree with joyous emphasis. All right. That was Abel's last question, right?
It was.
All right, we can move on to our next set of questions. I hope we didn't overwhelm you, Foster, if you're still there. Big hugs and all that. So, next set of
I
questions.
want to thank both Abel for the question and Alex for being wonderful, by the way.
Yeah! All right, let's
Next
do
up,
it.
we have questions, I believe a dozen questions from Hazard, aka Gillis.
We're never getting out of here. Fuck yeah, let's do it.
How do you rank the 7 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Fuck. You go first on this, man. I don't even know.
All right, so let's see. Let's just kind of briefly try and remember what exactly happened over these 7 seasons, because it was a lot. So, season 1 was obviously like the intro season. We get to know our characters. It was like kind of villain of the week for the first bunch of episodes, and then we had the whole Hydra reveal, and then the John Garrett thing at the end, and Coulson's drawing crazy shit by the end of the season. Season 2, we have to figure out what the fuck's going on with Coulson. The mid-season finale was Coulson killing the one Hydra leader, and Sky getting powers and becoming fucking Daisy slash Quake. The second half of season 2, I think, was Jia Ying. The whole thing with Daisy's dad, I think. Am I remembering that correctly?
I think you are.
Um, Afterlife. Yes, that is exactly what it was. Okay, so then the the final scene, the post credit scene for the final episode of season 2 was, I'm pretty sure, Gemma getting sucked into that fucking liquid that turned back into a rock that sent her to another planet.
That was the funniest moment in the series for me.
And then season
Amazing.
3 is just all about Inhumans and more. Because remember, at the end of season 2, Daisy quaked the fucking airplane that had all of the dust shit in it into the ocean, that then the fish pills started turning people into Inhumans. Remember?
Yeah.
So that was all of season 3. Was like, okay, we have a bunch of new Inhumans happening. There was that one containment company that was like, oh, we're putting them in storage, basically, even though they were like in suspended animation. And then she died, and there was also the whole thing with Hive, and like Ward came back for the whole thing, and then, or I think Ward was taken over by Hive. God, I'm having a hard time remembering it, honestly. I know season 3 was Hive. Season 3 was Hive. That was the big thing with season 3.
Yes.
And then season 4 was Ghost Rider, LMDs, and then the whole thing in the framework. That was season 4. Season 5 was in the future. Season 6 was time travel, I think. Yeah, I think. Wait, was no, no. Season 6 was that woman God, that woman who looked like fucking Julia in the face, but she was Izelle. That was her name. Season 6 was Izelle, where we had fucking the guy that looked like Coulson, but he was actually an alien.
Yeah, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That was season 6, and it was also because remember at the end of season 5, which was the season where it was like the whole like, oh, we're in the future and now we're gonna go back to the present. But then like at the end of this, like fucking Fitz died, but then it turned out at the end of the season, wait, that was future Fitz. Current Fitz is still out there in space somewhere. We're gonna go find him. And then season 6, it was like Daisy and Gemma and a couple other people out in space looking for Fitz. And remember there was that one episode where Daisy and Gemma did like space drugs and they were like losing their fucking minds under the table.
Yeah.
So that was season 6, and then season 7 was all the time travel.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say my favorite season. Um, I'm gonna. God, it's between 3 and 4 for me as my favorite. I really loved seasons 3 and 4. It was really good. I'm gonna say season 3 was my favorite, then 4. 3, then 4. Then I think 6. Then 5. Then 2. Then 7. Then 1.
I think I'm essentially going to agree with your list. Just remind me again, what season was Ada and that whole alternate timeline
That
that
was
she
4.
4 was absolutely my favorite by far. That was dark and fucking excellent. Yeah. So I think yeah, I'd put 4 at 1. And then yeah, I think everything else is just agreeable. So like didn't you have 3 at 1 and then 4 2? So I would just flip that and then everything else, I think, yeah,
Yeah.
just be fine.
Nice.
Um
It makes sense too because I tend to like things less when they're upsetting, but you tend to like them more.
My fondest memory of the show was when I was rooting for the Ego Planet, and that's when you looked at me and you were like, "You're very pro-minority," and you did your classic Ashton laugh. You know the one. So yeah, that's beautiful
Yeah.
memory for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It turned out that wasn't even Ego. It was a different planet, but yeah.
still rooting for it. Still rooting for it, and still sad that it lost. But
Also, it turns out the planet wasn't even sentient.
yeah, it was fucking balls tickled for nothing.
Yeah, it was all Hive the whole time. And that whole thing was season 3.
Yeah, that was really good too. But yeah, 4
Yeah.
was just amazing. So yeah.
All right, cool. So there we go. Next up, second question. What are your favorite episodes of season 7 and why?
And again, dude, it's been so long since we watched it. That's why I'm struggling with these.
Yeah,
Because like I almost feel like we're due for a rewatch if we didn't have already so much other content that's like
I
pressing.
know exactly. Yeah, like it's been
Yeah.
so long since because what you got to realize, Hazard, is that we watched these episodes when they aired, which was in the summer of 2020. So we're 3 years removed from having seen any of these.
Yeah.
um, I do remember though the one episode of season 7 was a time loop episode, and I remember that being trippy as fuck. And I loved that episode, and I'm gonna just say that one.
I think I'll agree. I think I'll agree because I think I remember that episode you're talking about, and that was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, basically
So yeah.
Daisy was going through like a fucking Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, yeah. And that was wild. Yeah, I really got to give the show credit. Usually, a show that late really starts to sputter. I think shows like that even start sputtering like in the 5th season. But I think it always had at least one concept that was really engaging and really entertaining. And the cast was so likable. I mean, my God, like, I'm already forgetting her name, and she was just on the season of Dave. What was the actress that played Daisy Quake? What was her name?
Chloe Bennett.
Chloe Bennett, yeah. The show made me fall in love with Chloe Bennett. I mean, you couldn't tell because I couldn't remember her name just now, but I mean, she was on the latest season of Dave, and she was fantastic in that. Like,
Hell
that's
yeah.
why she was the reason I was going to watch that fucking Powerpuff Girls CW show until the
Yep.
script was leaked and it was so fucking bad they canned it. But you know what? It's a testament to her acting ability that I'm pretty sure she could have made that show salvageable for at least a season, at least. She's immensely talented. I can't wait to see her in more stuff. But
Question number 3 from Gillis is: what do you
yes,
think of the following actors slash characters? And there's 3 he listed here. So the first one is Cora, which is Daisy's sister. The
okay.
second one is the young version of John Garrett, and the third one is Nathaniel Malik.
Hmm.
So I remember Cora, and I remember feeling really bad for her because she was like basically taught so much self hate when she was young, by fucking Jia Ying. Jia Ying fucked her shit up so bad. Uh, I loved the young John Garrett because he was legitimately played by the I think was it Bill Paxton, I want to say, that played John Garrett.
I believe so. Yeah.
Bill Paxton. Yes, yes. Uh, his son, I believe, was actually the actor that played the younger version of himself, and he knocked it out of the park. He was great. And then Nathaniel Malik, he was all right. I mean, he was a good villain, and he was definitely like intimidating and scary just because of how powerful he was. But the actor was didn't really do much for me.
Yeah. Again, not really much to add. I think I'm just gonna co-sign to you. It's been too fucking long. So yeah, next question.
All right. Fourth question. With the alternate timeline, there's a few potential spin off series that could be imagined. What are the shows you would like to see created?
Ultimate Timeline, few spin-off series. Oh man, God. This question should be so much easier than what it is, but like I'm actually having trouble with it. I'd love a Spider-Man noir TV series if you want to talk about timelines and like alternate
Wait,
universes.
no, he's
I think
talking
that.
about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., man.
Oh, Aiden's the shit. Oh my God, still on this. Were we supposed to get like a bounty hunter show that got canceled? And I'd love to
Oh,
still
yeah,
see
yeah,
that.
yeah. The Mockingbird thing with Bobby Morse and Lance Hunter.
Would have loved to have seen that. Um, I would have loved to have seen a Quake leading her own version of Shield because I know like they made her leader temporarily and then ended up going to Mac. But like I'd love to see her leading her own team of
Inhumans,
Inhumans.
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
That would have been
yeah.
great.
So I think that's the best answer I can give. What about you, man?
I would also personally just love to see Coulson start up a new team with a new cast. I mean, I would love, and I shouldn't say Coulson even because Coulson isn't even like meant to be like the leader anymore. It's Mac. So what I would really love to see is a team of Mac and Daisy, and maybe Yo Yo would be along for the ride too, and whoever else would like fit, going out into space and doing sword shit. Because I know we talk about Shield, but the space version of Shield is Sword. I want them to do Sword. I want it to be Agents of Sword in space with Mac, Daisy, Yo Yo, and whoever else would fit.
Great. Yeah, I'd have a lot of fun with a show like that for sure.
All right. Next question. Speaking of Sky slash Daisy slash Quake, there's a rumor that she could return to the MCU. Besides the obvious choice of Coulson, what three characters would you like to see reappear in Phase 5?
Seeing what Mac's been up to has been cool since he was made the leader of Shield.
Yes.
Like we'd have to almost touch up on him. May obviously May kicked ass. Um, and yeah, Fitzsimmons. I'd love to see how their families come along, how their science has developed, and how it could help against the more intergalactic threats and things that we know now in the MCU. So I think May, Fitzsimmons, and Mac for sure. And like I know they said three people, so I wonder who got more time between Gemma and Fitz, like screen time. It's kind of a tough call, but
Probably
Fitz,
Fitz. Fitz was awesome.
Fitz, yeah, because he did also have the evil character. So Fitz is probably well, he was written more interestingly just from that angle. So if I had to pick between the two, so as not to cheat, Fitz. So yeah, Fitz, Mac, and May for me.
Interesting. Okay. Um, God. You know what? This actually gives me an idea because you mentioned a spin-off series. I want a spin-off series where we get like I don't know how to describe this, but like I want Grant Ward younger. Like I want like a young Grant Ward, and I want like his life at Shield as like a Hydra operative in Shield.
Yeah,
I want that series. That sounds
that would be
interesting to
cool.
me.
That would be interesting.
And
Yeah,
maybe
for
even
sure.
if it's only like a one season thing and you end the season with him manipulating the stakes to make sure that he is selected for Coulson's team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
Um as far as who I would like to see reappear in Phase 5, oh lord. I mean, God, he said pick three. He gave us one. He gave us two. He gave us Daisy and Coulson, and you just named three. Who the fuck is left? What am I gonna say? Deke? I can't wait to see what Deke does in Phase 5. No, I don't give a fuck about Deke.
You're in tone there. It's like you're at the fucking Shield headquarters and you're planning that office party. And who do we invite? Well, there's nobody left. I mean, who else are we gonna invite? Deke? That nerd? Fuck him. Damn, Deke getting iced out.
I mean, I don't even dislike Deke. He just doesn't feel like a very important character. I mean, Mac is the best answer in my opinion. I want to know what Mac's up to as the fucking director of Shield now. Like he's the man.
Yeah. What have you been doing, my guy?
I'm saying. Yo-Yo is another really easy answer. I loved Yo-Yo. She was great.
Yeah.
And you said Fitz, so I'll say Simmons. There you go.
There you go. There we go. All the bases have now been covered. So next question.
She said, since I know you love talking about the show, one more question. What are your favorite scenes of the show overall? As many as you want.
Again, Gemma getting sucked in by the liquid. That was
That
great.
was John's favorite scene of the entire show for sure.
Yeah, there, like, it was a long time ago, so I haven't done it recently. I don't want to make it seem like it's been super recent, but I know there were times, even after the show was like long over, that I would go back to watch that scene just to pop, and I did, and it was great. Um, again, Ada snapping at Fitz when he like chose Gemma over her, like I was genuinely fearful for him, and I want to give credit to the actress because like that was insane. Um, so that was great. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, Coulson and May's like first kiss, where like Quake just stops and looks and is like, "Oh my god, mom and dad are doing it! They're doing it!" That was also
Dude, they
great.
were on an alien spaceship when that happened, too.
Yeah, and he produced a shield to deflect the blast, and even while they're fending off a threat, he's like, "No, we've put this off long enough."
I guess they became agents of a different kind of shield in that moment.
Yes. Um. So yeah, yeah. Those are just a few moments. I'm not gonna, pull a muscle trying to name anymore. But yeah, those are definitely some of my. Oh, and I guess one more. Coulson crushing Ward's chest. That got co-opted by the planet, and
Oh.
then that was so great.
I do want to give credit to the actress who played Ada, by the way. Her name's Mallory Jansen.
Oh, she was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
She's Australian.
Amazing.
God, that's hot. Anyway,
Yeah.
uh, so my favorite scene in the entirety of Agents of Shield was actually Fitz's death in season 5. It turned out to not be our Fitz. It turned out to be a future version of Fitz. But that shit hit me like a ton of bricks, kind of like the way the fucking building hit Fitz and killed him.
Yeah.
Just the way that he was impaled by the building, and he was just kept talking about how he can't feel his leg or his legs, and then like Mac was like all like, "Yeah, I gotcha," and like he was like. Mac knew that he was gonna die, and he tried to console him. And Mac's eyes started welling up with tears, and like, oh, bro, there were two moments that I can think of in the entire series that Mac cried, and they both made me cry too, because it was that, and it was the spy's goodbye for Bobby.
Oh, nice,
Those
nice.
are two of my favorite scenes in the entire series. I fucking love those scenes, and I think Mac just getting emotional are what do it for me.
For sure.
Uh, Shout out to Henry. Is it Simmons? Henry. Yeah, it is Simmons. Henry Simmons is the actor that plays Mac. So shout out to Henry Simmons for being damn good at what he does.
Hell yeah.
Um. Next question: did you subscribe to the break room and the deep dive from the new Rockstars guys? And what do you think of them?
Yeah, we did, and my God, are they thorough and passionate about the content they produce.
Hell yeah.
Our go-to source for all things MCU, because between the theories and the actual breakdowns of what we know to be true and everything else, like, yeah, everything they do from the speculative to just analyzing the concrete, it's solid. So yeah, they're great.
Yep. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
next
sign
question.
on to everything you just said.
Yeah, there you go.
So next up, he said Eric Voss has said that he doesn't like to say, "Oh, that's a bad movie," because he thinks that there's always interesting stuff to say about a movie. What do you think about that statement?
I think it's healthy. Well, healthy might be too strong a word, but I think it's interesting. You know, because I almost think like bad is kind of like not necessarily a moral judgment, but a kind of judgment. Like, oh, this is bad, so you XYZ shouldn't watch it or whatever. Whereas Voss tries to have like kind of a very open panoramic view, like looking at things from all sides and seeing that a movie, even if it's bad to one, could have value to another. And yeah, I think that's a good disposition to have to art
Yeah.
of all kinds. So
That's
yeah, I don't begrudge
exactly
him at all.
right. It's art. There's no such thing as bad art, I don't think.
Yeah, there you go. I completely agree.
All right. Next up, in a triple threat for the AEW Tag Team Championship, who would you want to win between the teams of Chris Jericho and Minoru Suzuki, Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes, and Johnny TV and QT Marshall?
Oh God, I guess Johnny, because I'm gonna root for him always. But they're really pushing the limits of my fandom, putting him with that fucking shitter QT Marshall. So
I'm gonna say Jericho and Suzuki, honestly.
yeah, I mean, because Jericho can still go well enough for his age, and Suzuki's just Suzuki. Like, is there anything really else to say?
For me, it's that I don't want Keith Lee or Johnny TV to be weighed down by tag titles. I want them in singles. So put the tag titles on the old fucks.
There you go.
Put the
Hell
tag
yeah.
titles on the 50-plus-year-olds. Let FTR go jerk themselves off in the corner while they think about wrestling Suzuki for a while.
Yeah, yeah, perfectly said.
Next question. What would be an even worse pairing than those in the previous question? And then he added, not just in AEW. You can go with any wrestlers in any era.
Oh God, worst pairing, huh? I'm gonna say Ultimate Warrior and Brutus Beefcake. I'm just gonna put two absolute shitters in there. But you know what? The Ultimate Warrior at least still got the pops. Hmm. I like
Isn't
my
the
Brutus
point
Beef.
to pick like someone that you really love and then someone that ruins the tag team?
Oh yeah, that's true. So if I'm going back in time, I'd say Chris Benoit because he was my favorite for a long time. But then who would I pair him with that I hate? God, and I mean hate.
Austin Theory.
Oh God, you know that actually. Oh God. Oh God, that's awful. I love it though for the context of the question. Yeah. Is there anybody who have I ranted about on the male side? Because female, like I automatically think Charlotte, everything. Corbin. I'm gonna say Corbin because I've really been dogging on him lately. Although to be honest, he wasn't bad this week on NXT, like at all. It's just he's so bald and meh.
He's, bro, remember when he was cool, when he had hair and he was like the lone, I mean, he brought back the lone wolf gimmick for NXT this week, but when he had like the lone wolf gimmick and he came out to that superhuman song and shit.
Yeah, yeah. Those were the fucking. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was a thing. All right. What about you? What's a tag team you'd put together that you'd absolutely like? What do you love and what do you hate?
Yeah, so I'm really angry at myself because I had a good answer and I've forgotten it since. So, um, man, um, well, I have an answer. Andrade and Ric Flair.
Yeah, God, yeah, we saw it and we know how that fucking shit works out.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. It's perfect. That's all I need.
God.
Next, oh, and another one that I might as well throw out there: Io Sky and Charlotte.
Oh, God.
It's gonna
Now,
happen, and it's probably gonna happen before the end of the summer, even.
ew.
Io and Charlotte versus Asuka and Bailey. I give it 2 months.
Oh, God.
All
All right.
right, next question. Do you trust? Wait, no, yeah, okay, yeah. Do you trust James Gunn in creating a more entertaining, well-written DC universe?
Trust might be a strong word, but I'm curious to see if he can do it. I've got an openness to it. I can already tell you for a Superman movie, I like the casting. Um,
Yes.
So yeah, like, and if he can make a good Superman movie when Superman's always been the hardest property to get me on board on, um, that should be a harbinger of good things to come, at least for my viewing of the DCEU. So
Dude, I feel
trust,
like we're in an era right now where like wholesome Superman is just kind of becoming more of a thing because like from what I understand the show that's already airing called Superman or is it Superman and Lois or is it Clark and Lois?
Superman and Lois.
from what I understand, that Superman is super wholesome and nice and huggable. And then we've got this fucking Superman anime basically coming to Adult Swim that looks incredible. And now we know that James Gunn is going for a wholesome Superman as well. So like it feels like we've just kind of entered an era where Superman is about to go back to his roots of being like the like wholesome, lovable superhero that he was always supposed to be, who doesn't kill anyone but is certainly not afraid to punch a Nazi.
Yeah, like I wanted the Superman and I feel like we're getting that Superman, like you said, slowly again. Where in the comic strips, I forget what her name. I think it was Laura. I just know her as Mama Kent, where she's like, oh, and his father and I always had to hide the presents because she's talking about Christmas with Clark, and he chimes in, "You mean Santa hides them?" Like, that's pretty fucking wholesome to me. So yeah, I'm excited about a more wholesome Superman making a return because I think that's what we need right now. So
Yeah. All right. Next up, are there any moves in wrestling that you'd like to see be named after a wrestler once the wrestler most known for the move stops doing it? So he gave an example here. Basically, Kenny Omega, once he retires, would it be. Actually, no, this is a new set of questions, I think. Yeah, this is a new set of questions. This is Jordan Amos. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. This is a new set of questions. We have 2 questions from Jordan Amos.
okay,
And yeah, this is his first question. And his, I'll repeat it again just because I want to make sure that we have all the context here. Jordan's first question. Let me find it in the Discord here, actually. Um, are there any moves in wrestling that you'd like to see named after a wrestler once the wrestler most known for the move stops using it? And the example that he gave was the one-winged angel becoming the Omega driver after Kenny would stop, retire.
I I wouldn't be opposed to it because you could always refer to it also by its other name. Um, I don't think it's a necessity or anything. I'm not going to be pressed if they don't do it, but yeah, I don't see the harm in it. Like,
Where has this happened? Has this happened that you're aware of?
um, n- I guess the only time, but see, it was when he was active because I think like Angle Slam, like his name was in it, but like Angle was active when it happened, and I think even now that people do it, it's called like an Angle Slam or an Olympic Slam. I think more
Yeah, I was going to
generally.
say that was the Angle Slam early on in his career, and over time, because of copyright issues, it became the Olympic Slam.
Yeah. So I don't think that's ever happened, and so I don't see why it would start now. Now that I think about it, yeah, you make a good point there.
Because I was
Hmm,
thinking, like, instead of a package pile driver, maybe eventually it becomes known as, like, the Steam driver.
that'd be cool.
But I just don't think that's really a thing that happens in wrestling. Because, like, even, like, think about, like, the Tiger Driver 91.
Yeah,
We still call it the Tiger Driver 91,
exactly. Yeah,
right? Like, I it's not like we call it the Misawa driver, right?
yeah, and you could very easily get away with it though if you did, but it's just funny that we don't do that. So like, yeah,
Yeah, like Matt Stryker tried to make this a thing in Lucha Underground, where anytime Pentagon would hit a sling blade, he would say, and he did a Tanahashi.
yeah. Oh, Matthew.
And like Alex Foster said, oh, a Michinoku driver, but like Taka called it that. It was called the Michinoku driver when Taka was active.
Yeah.
We're not
So
retroactively renaming it that.
yeah,
So I don't know. I don't. That's why, like, the only example that I could really think of is like if we would want to call the package pile driver the Steam driver or something like that.
yeah.
Remember
Hmm.
the Steenalizer?
No.
Oh my god, do you remember the Dragon driver that Dragon Lee did that broke fucking
I,
Hiromu's neck?
oh God. Yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
God.
Kevin used to do that into the turnbuckles.
Oh God, Kevin. Jesus.
Uh, anyway, second and final question from Jordan. And by the way, thank you, Hazard, for your 12. Appreciate it. Second and final question here from Jordan, though. If you were to choose someone from the mid card to have a meteoric rise up the card and win the world title, who would you choose in both AEW and in WWE?
Um. I mean, AEW, Swerve or Keith Lee, easy. Um, WWE, I'm gonna say either Ali or since we're talking about somebody having a meteoric rise and getting a push, Chad Gable.
Ooh, I like that.
So what about you, bud?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know I'm going to say Swerve for AEW. That's my dude. I would be willing to accept either of Bandito or Andrade though as well.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
In WWE though, it's odd because they're, you know, brand new to the main roster, but I'm going to say Cameron Grimes.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love him. I'm still disappointed he's not in Money in the Bank, to be quite honest with you.
I low
But
key, Cameron Grimes feels like the new model of Seth Rollins. Like Seth Rollins at one point felt like what Cameron Grimes feels like right now.
yeah, I could agree with that for sure.
So that's kind of where I'm at. Next up, we had 3 questions from Angel, your boy, Angel.
Sweet.
First question: are there any Dark Side of the Ring stories that either of you wish they would tell, or have they pretty much covered everything?
Um, they've covered everything that would be of interest to me because a lot of stuff was way before my time that I haven't been interested in revisiting. I guess as far as like way into the future, I'd love for them to do Speaking Out and do a documentary like on that.
Oh my god,
Uh,
yeah.
on Vince's scandal that he had with the company and like him
Yes.
coming back and stuff, that'd be another thing. And I think, yeah, those are the two biggest things, like from my time, that I think would make worthwhile material. I can't really think of anything else, though, to be honest. And I guess, knock on wood, I hope this never happens. But if any controversy ever happens with Stardom, given that I love that promotion so much, like I would
Well,
want
dude,
that
the
documented
fucking
on one
incident.
day. Oh, you mean with like the shoot, like Kyrie getting like fucking bludgeoned by
No,
Yoshikawa and
not
stuff?
Kyrie. No, no, no. The Act Yasukawa Yoshiko thing that happened in 2015.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. I think one on that would also be interesting. So yeah, that'll be my three, which I
Dude,
didn't
I
even
was even gonna
expect to
say
be one.
I want a whole Dark Side of the Ring about just like specifically all Japan women's wrestling.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Cause like I've already heard some fucking horror stories, and that shit was terrifying. Like, I think didn't I show you? I don't know if it was a video or a GIF or something of like I think I might not have even been able to show it to you because I think I saw it and I moved on, and then the next time that I saw you, I talked to you about it, but I couldn't find it then. I saw this video of it was like it was a Joshi training session where they had this trainee throwing drop kicks, and like at one point they were like, okay, now you stand here and take my drop kick, and they did a fucking shoot drop kick, like kicked her straight in the face, made her bleed. And then like the woman that was in the ring training with her, and then another one that was training another one of the trainers from outside of the ring got into the ring, and they were like grilling her like, who taught you to throw drop kicks like that? I know that's not how we taught you to throw drop kicks. Like they were pissed.
Yeah, you did tell me about that. That was fucked, bro.
That like I want to see like the fucking tell all on that side of fucking Joshi.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Because it's gotten better with time, but I want to know what it was like in the 80s and 90s when All Japan was at its height.
Yeah, definitely.
Because All Japan Women's was the fucking top of the world.
Yes,
Like
it
there was a
was.
point in the early 90s, I believe, that Chigusa Nagayo was not just the most popular women's wrestler in all of Japan, she was the most popular wrestler in all of Japan, regardless of gender. She was more popular than Kobashi, Misawa, Kawada, Taue, fucking Muda, anyone. She was above all of them in terms of popularity.
Yeah, that's insane to me, bro.
Yeah,
That's absolutely wild.
yeah. So I want to see the fucking curtain peeled back on that shit. I mean, the Kana Manifesto, bro.
Yes. God, a whole episode could be done on that even.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. There's so much dirt. We really just need Dark Side of the Ring to just do some digging into Japan, but I feel like the Yakuza wouldn't allow it.
Oh god. Oh god.
Anyway, second question from Angel: are there any titles that don't mean anything that you guys still like, a la the $1,000,000 title?
I always like the European Championship. I don't know why.
Wait,
Just
no,
always
no,
kind of a
because he had this whole thing that he did about how The $1 million title is amongst one of his all-time favorite titles in wrestling, but it doesn't even have like a legacy or like a meaning to matches or anything like that. Like there's no like proper lineage to it or anything like that. So that's more what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a championship that fits that bill though. It's kind of the funny thing. Um, because like even when people put their own spin on like a world title, it's still a world title. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't really think. Yeah, FTW title I think would work. I've liked what Hook has done with it. I think Abel makes a great point. I think that would be my answer. That's the closest thing I have though, because I really can't think of anything else.
Remember Zack Ryder's Internet Championship?
Oh God, yeah, that's right. That was a thing.
Yep,
Jesus.
that'll be my answer.
Well, that's a good answer. It works. So next question.
Especially because now Impact literally has a digital media championship. Like Cardona was ahead of his time.
Yeah, he was. He definitely was.
All right, third and final question from Angel. After the great pay-per-view show in Puerto Rico, I heard they re-signed Carlito. What role would he serve best today? And who else from the past should they give a second chance to?
I think he could still go in the ring. I think he'd be a solid mid card guy. Maybe get another run at the U.S. title again because he just has such a history with that championship. Other people that they could give a second chance to. Isn't Mark Jindrak like working in Mexico?
Marco Corleone, that's right.
He could maybe have one more run. I've been hearing good things about him there, although it's been a minute. Um, Let me think. Who else? Other people from the past. God, putting my personal biases aside, I'm trying to think of people that I do think just would have something to offer, even if I don't agree with them as people. It's a shame Sean O'Hare passed because I was actually thinking of him when I saw this question, but obviously that's just not going to work. Um, so yeah, Mark Jindrak for one. Cade also passed because I feel like he'd be another interesting one. What else?
So
Maybe
here,
Rene Dupree.
oh
Wait,
wow,
well,
isn't he?
I know he's still alive. I just don't know what he's doing currently. I think he's like working the indies,
Oh
I thought.
wow, yeah, he's 39. He's not even that old.
Yeah, so I think he could do one more run. There was a name you said though. I didn't hear you.
I did not say a name. I was just going to.
Oh, okay, well, who do you have in mind then?
Ken Doan,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kenny Dykstra.
Formerly Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he could actually have an interesting story. I'd like him to maybe do what like Corbin did and kind of run and attack Carmelo and be like, this place, I wish this place was around when I was the young upstart that everybody believed in. And you could almost come in and like a bitter, jaded character now that he's got the age and stuff. And he's like, I never got to fulfill my potential. You guys have it easy, all that kind of stuff. I think that'd be a very interesting angle.
You know, he is actually already on the payroll, from what I understand.
Interesting.
He is
Interesting.
he is like a producer backstage, so he could potentially already be used at this point.
Cool. Cool. I like that. I like that.
So
Um,
here's a more recent name though that I just think is so much better in a WWE context than literally anywhere the fuck else that I would want them to bring back and give another chance to. Pack.
yeah, yeah, because I'll tell you, I know he got frustrated with stuff, but he just came off a certain way in WWE that I'm like, that's a main event guy. I don't know if he's ever really recaptured that in AEW, even though he's done good shit there too, to his credit. Um, I don't know if there's bad blood between them, but I was even thinking Paul London. I know Kendrick didn't really work out because views of his came out, Holocaust denial and all that shit. But I always thought Paul kept his nose relatively clean to that stuff. So Paul London would be cool. I think he's a cool dude. I liked him in Lucha Underground a lot. I wish we could have gotten seen more of him in that kind of environment. So yeah, Paul London. And I think that's all I can really think of for now.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, let's get into our next set of questions. We are finally up to Rotten Butter. I saw he was in the chat earlier. It's good to see you, Rotten Butter. His first three questions are he literally just wrote beat, boop, borp.
Ah, well, I think we know what that's code for. $10 super chat from Angel. He said thank you with a bird bowing emoji for actually no, I think that's a pair
Yep, that's a
answering his
pair.
questions. Yes. So thank you, Angel, for the donation. It's greatly appreciated. Rotten Butter. I will say for me, I'm actually going to kind of be all over the place as I usually am so now that this is quarterly because it's just so much more content. Music has been a great time because I'm pretty sure in this period NF dropped a new album, which was all right. I think there were only like 2 or 3 tracks that I really liked from it. Hobson just dropped a new song recently. Joyner Lucas continues to be absolute freaking fire. Conquer Divide dropped 2 new songs. Stained came back with a single after what feels like 20 fucking years. So music, I was eating this quarter. That was insane that I saw that. I couldn't believe that. Who else dropped music recently? Because I know it was Conquer Divide, but I feel like there was another group that did stuff. Never Tell dropped a new song. That was cool. What else? There was so much music this month that I feel like I listened to. Um, God, I only want to answer music first because I know you're always good for a music, like, or at least as part of this kind of thing. So it was Conquer Divide. It was Never Tell. I know Meet Me at the Altar, like you made me aware of their new album. I listened to most of it. I think I only listened to the first half. I still have to listen to the second half at some point. But the first half was really good from what I listened to. Oh, fucking obviously, how can I blank on these guys? Sleep Token. Sleep Token was a huge part of my music for this grading period, to the point where I've actually joined a Sleep Token Facebook group. And my God, I really feel like I'm in a cult, but it's a lot better than the last one I almost got roped into. And
It's
I
so true. It's so true.
yeah. And Ron Butter's like, music is food you eat with your ears. Thank you, Jaden Smith. That just seems like something he would tweet. Um, so yeah, Sleep Token was a big part of this grading period. So yeah, music has been I keep saying grading period, but I should just say Q&A period because grading period's like 5 but yeah, music was great this period for me. So I'm very grateful for that. My family's watched a bunch of stuff. We watched this crazy fucking physical competition reality show, Physical 100, which I think is like a Korean thing. And I swear, if there weren't like eugenic undertones, I'd be all in. But it's only like they're looking for what they call the perfect specimen, and they put them through these like amazing athletic competitions and stuff. And yeah, it was just really interesting. We've been watching Floribama Shore because I am a sucker for quality trash reality TV. So that's been fun. Um, what else have we been watching? Ashton and I finished Barry. God, what an amazing show that was. I think the more I think about it, the more I love the series finale. I know a lot of people were divided on it. I definitely come down as a fan for sure. What else? Obviously, been keeping up with everything Marvel and DC. We did Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Secret Invasion. God, we've been doing a lead up to Not Another Teen Movie. So she's all that. 10 Things I Hate About You, which is on Disney Plus, which that great freaking movie. R.I.P. to Heath Ledger. What a fucking tour de force that dude is. Um, Can't Hardly Wait, right? Was the one that I thought was a fucking fever dream that we watched
Yep.
recently.
Yep.
Um, God damn, bro. Didn't we finish the latest season of Bel Air this period too? Because I know it
Oh
was
my
like a long
God,
time
did
between
we?
these now.
Holy shit.
I mean, it feels like we did. I could be wrong though. That was crazy. I mean, Carlton, that drug problem is out of control.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you're right. We did. Oh my God, the last like 4 or 5 episodes aired during this Q&A period. You're right.
Wow. Well, look at me with the callback, and I usually suck at that for these.
Damn.
So yeah, Carlton, rehab better straighten you out because I still haven't forgiven you for putting your hands on Ashley, you fucking cretin.
Ugh,
And
Ashley
Jeffrey,
sucks.
dude, I know, but you know who doesn't suck? Jeffrey. What a man. Holy
What
shit.
a fucking man.
He doubled down on it. That's how you know it's right.
Mm.
Phil isn't bad either, but he's dipping his toe. He's dipping his toe in waters where that toe should not be fraternizing. So that's happening. Um, we've seen trailers. I've watched Black Mirror. That was another big thing for me this month. Black Mirror. And let me tell you something, all the haters. I don't know why everybody's hating on this season. I loved it. I feel like it was a return to form. I know Kirby and I talked about it a little bit, but I don't even know if we geeked about it enough. I will say if anybody is looking for like dystopian sci-fi akin to the Twilight Zone, which is just like a little bit of everything, comedy, horror, fantasy, like yeah, Black Mirror, and especially this season's Your Hookup, I think Beyond the Sea was the best installment, but warning to everybody, bleak as fuck. So be sure to have a palate cleanser of something very uplifting and sparkly and colorful. I did not, mainly because I like to suffer. So yeah, that was a thing. That was amazing. Um, what else? What else? I've really had an anime craving lately, but I didn't scratch it, I don't think, very much this month. Um, which is a shame because, like, yeah, there's been a lot of good stuff. Oh, look at you, rotten butter! All that sarcasm. Um, but yeah, I've been rewatching like a little bit at a time. That's So Raven on Disney Plus, which is weird. And in the Discord, which you can
It's a
join for only
future I can see.
yeah, yeah. You can join the Discord for $3 a month. You can look at our Patreon below in the description box. Uh,
Hop
I did
on in.
I did a recording on season 1, episode 8, where she meets the other psychic kids, and I'm like, maybe let's talk about this. So that was a thing. What else? Jesus.
Dave.
Dave, which I think had its best season, at least its best season finale by far. That season finale was peak fucking television. Jesus Christ. Uh, we watched The Waterboy together.
Yeah, that was fun.
God, God, when Adam
Fun.
Sandler was on top of the world. Kathy Bates, too. Kathy Bates had a birthday recently. Happy belated to Kathy Bates.
Nice.
Uh,
She doesn't like
yeah.
suck as a person, does she?
I don't think she does,
Well,
and if
that's
she
good.
does, I'll be the first to tell you that I'll be very disappointed in her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna personally DM her and be like, "You let me down," and
Oh, you can
yeah.
DM Kathy Bates?
I mean, maybe. Let's check right now,
Oh
actually.
my god, we're really doing this. Nice.
I mean, you brought it up, man. You know I'm not gonna let this go.
I love it.
She's not on Twitter because she's not a mark. That's already a good sign. So
Wow. So she could be horrible and we just wouldn't know it. Isn't
yeah,
ignorance the best?
yeah. Way to keep life private with those
Yeah.
skeletons.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Kathy, for not letting us know who you really are.
that's amazing. Um, let's see what else. God, I think I'm kind of sputtering. Gaming wise, I did start to replay Talos Principle, but then I started
Because
to cheat a
Talos
little.
Principle 2 was announced. Hello.
Yes, a lot of gaming trailers. I'll leave Ash to handle that though. I'm too lazy to do all that. So yeah.
Wow.
Hey man, I had to leave you something. I'm literally sucking up everything over here. Um, so yeah, replaying Talos Principle 1, but I uninstalled it recently, much like I do all the time with my love-hate relationship with 2K22, because collecting all the gold stars just got too hard. And I'm like, you know what, Elohim? Suck my balls. And that was amazing. Oh, all who dwell in my garden. Yeah, all who dwell in your garden have their mouth open to
Eat
suck
my
my
ass.
balls.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and my ass for sure. There's enough for everyone, enough for the whole fucking. It's like family, but with more balls. So there you go. Yeah. So I uninstalled that. Been kind of playing 2K22 on and off, mainly so I could play with the community feature of getting certain creator wrestlers. I've done ZSJ. I've done Benoit. I did Utami. The creator wrestler of Utami is the first time I've ever done a women's season, and I did a couple matches with her, and it was just so wonderful dominating. But I will say I'm a picky fucker because like they didn't get the move set right completely, and it just kind of bothered me. It's
That's
like I want to play
annoying.
it.
I definitely could understand your complaints there.
Yeah, it's like I wanted to play as Utami and not Wish.com Utami. Get it right next time.
What parts didn't they
God.
get right?
The finisher for one thing, which
They
was
didn't give her the
awful.
hijack bomb?
No, they didn't. They gave her some,
What?
I guess, the closest approximation they could to it. But here's the thing: if the approximation itself is bad, like I'll still give an A forever. But I would just appreciate something a little bit more creative, even if it's out of the box.
Oh,
Especially now that that finisher's been kicked out of. Thanks, Shitty.
fucking
Um,
shitty.
dude, I know. Uh, but but no, I think 2K22 is in the uninstalled period of my life now.
Okay.
So and it might just stay there. Like again, it's the love hate relationship. I'll get the urge to play it, and then it'll freeze or something. Because yeah, that's when I uninstalled it. I wanted to do Mark Henry because I wanted to go on a heel run because I fucking love heel Mark Henry, and the game just wouldn't boot up. Like I wanted to decimate Brock Lesnar in front of Paul Heyman to show Paul Heyman the depths of his own powerlessness, and nothing. Nothing. So like, yeah, and I've been kind of tempted to do a solo campaign as Jey Uso. You know, really make him main event Jey Uso and beat Roman Reigns for the Universal title. But no, I'm not giving 2K22 that satisfaction. Fuck you. So yeah. Beyond that, oh god. I watched a horrible fucking movie this month that like intensified my ageism, which is really bad for everybody because I was already pretty incredibly ageist to an
Same.
alarming degree. Yeah, like it was to the point where if I was working a pharmacy and a woman was like, "Please, sir, I need the medicines," I'd just be like, "How old are you?" 82. You lived long enough. And I'd refuse to fill the med. Like that's how bad my ageism probably was. And it got even worse when I trying to pull it up on Netflix. I tried to pawn it off on Kirby to watch it because he's a cinephile. And I don't know, squirming a little bit after every time he said, "Oh, that's spiteful. That's rude." No, you know what's rude? My movie recommendation. I've shown you now what spiteful actually is. Let me see if I can find it. God, I am pulling a Tony Khan right now because I did a line before this. Let's see.
People are gonna
No,
take that literally.
but wait, say that again.
I said people are gonna take that literally and think you actually just snorted coke before we went live.
You know what? You know what? Good, good. I'm not gonna stop him. Um, let's. I love that I typed in German and one of the results was Hitler, a career. Yeah, that's one word for it. It's one fucking word for it, career. I only typed in German because I know it was a German film. I don't think I'm gonna be able to watch it, but it's pretty much like old people meet zombies, and you know, you think, wow, there's kind of a premise here. If they keep it to the nursing home, they treat like shit, but they don't. They don't. They do a lot of stuff that is really unnecessary and really annoying. Speaking of things though that I'm actually looking forward to, the trailer for Killers of the Flower Moon, Scorsese's next film, dropping on Apple TV in October. That was a haunting trailer. That is cinema. Really excited for that one. Um, God, you know, the writer strike did stall some stuff because I think before the creative period, I was keeping up with Last Week Tonight, but that's again kind of stopped because of the writer strike. Solidarity with the writers. I will wait as long as we need to. I've watched some stuff on The Boys because I have been jonesing for that, but we learned today again that season 4 will be stalled again because of the strike. Worth it.
Just
And
give them what they want, you greedy fucks.
exactly, exactly. And in fact, speaking of content, I want to get the movie right, but I'm pretty sure it was Enter the Dragon that Angel and I watched together with Bruce Lee.
Enter the
And it was pretty
fist?
fucking sweet, y'all.
What
So
movie am
that
I
was a
thinking of
thing.
that's Enter the Fist?
Um, Kung Pao into the Fist? Is that?
Yes, that's the one. Bro, we haven't seen that movie. That movie is great.
Yeah, you know what? I believe you. I believe you.
That movie's
Uh,
hilarious. I remember that movie. It's so funny.
Class of '09. I saw that trailer. I know Ashley and I are
We
gonna watch
gotta
that.
we gotta get around to watching that shit, bro.
Yeah, I need to scratch my Kate Mara crush itch because it kind of intensified after the Black Mirror episode she's in. So yeah. White House Plumber, sold a trailer for that. Woody Harrelson, always a good time. So we're gonna have to watch that at some point. We rewatched Into the Spider Verse again in preparation for Across the Spider Verse. Really fun movie. I've seen everybody rave about Across the Spider Verse, so I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
Uh, God, I think I can shut up now. I listed so much more than I even thought I would list. But yeah, I'm gonna pass the baton to you. What do you got going on, bud?
So music I should be able to keep relatively succinct. I actually have been on a weird like borderline country music kick over the last week or so. It's not like full country. Like I'm not like listening to country music on the radio. That shit is still cringy as fuck to me. But like more like bluesy folksy kind of music, kind of like soulful bluesy folk music almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like so there's this group called the Dead South that I discovered, and I don't love all of their music, but I don't really hate any of their music either. And I love this one song that I've posted already twice in the music channel of the Discord. In Hell, I'll Be in Good Company. John, I know I shared that with you, and you even liked it too because you told me about how much you love the banjo.
banjo's underrated as hell.
Yeah. And I used to at one point be a big fan of Mumford and Sons, and a big draw for me about Mumford and Sons was the banjo, so I'll give you that. And I stopped listening to their stuff because I started paying attention to the lyrics, and I realized that they were very, very preachy Christian lyrics. Um, but the music was still good. So in the Dead South, I mean, they like the one song that I absolutely love by them is literally about a dude that murdered his wife, and then is talking about how like in hell I'll be in good company. Like he's basically saying like whenever I die, I'll see you down there.
Yeah,
So that's that song. Also, I've been on a little bit of a Diplo kick lately because he also has a new country album coming out. Which again, like I say country, but like it's Diplo country. It's not real country music. Diplo is a pop slash EDM music producer. So when I say country, it's in the hardest, tightest, coquina clutch air quotes country music. It's like fake. Like if you would ever ask a country music fan what they think of Diplo's country music albums, they would roll their eyes at it. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
So, I've been listening to that a lot lately in preparation for the new one to drop. I'm excited for it, and he already has a new song off of it out called "Use Me" by Dove Cameron, featuring I think it's Johnny Blue Eyes or something like that. Is the name of the guy that sings on it, and that's pretty good. It's not as good as some of the songs on his first album, but it's pretty good. I do like Dove Cameron; she's cool. I've actually got some like J slash K pop that I've listened to over the last few months. Like, there's this Japanese girl group working out of South Korea called XG that put out a song called Left Right that I really loved. Meltier fucking dropped an album, so there's your J-pop. I actually like that album too, although I like it less now that I have grown to dislike Meltier as much as I do. As far as like more like U.S. centric pop, Haley Steinfeld put out a song called "Sun Kissing" that I absolutely love. Um, I discovered well, there's a lot that I discovered these 3 months. Action adventure. I showed them to you, John, and you seemed to like them, but obviously they didn't click with you too much because I don't think you've listened to them since.
I
Uh,
should though. I should make a point
they,
to go and
they,
listen.
yeah, their one song "Tuck Everlasting" I absolutely loved, and I also saw on Spotify they literally have an EP called "Going Heel." So I'm like, oh, are these guys wrestling fans? Maybe that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um, I would say if I had to like rank the number one thing that I've listened to the most over the course of these 3 months, it would be Labyrinth. Because not only have I listened to a lot of Labyrinth as like his own thing, but I've also listened to the LSD album a lot over these 3 months. I'm a big fan of that stuff and of him specifically. Discovered a very soulful female R&B artist named Sinead. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's spelled the same as Sinead O'Connor. So I'm assuming it's Sinead Harnett. And she has a really beautiful voice and again really soulful bluesy R&B type singer. Um, Also discovered a really fun Midwestern emo band called Camping in Alaska. And a song of theirs that I liked was called "See You in the Ball Pit," so that was cool. Just last night, I discovered this dude named Willis, all caps Willis, who sounds to me like Chance the Rapper when Chance sings, but I don't
nice.
think he ever actually raps like Willis. I don't think Willis is a rapper at all. I think he's just a singer. So it's like all of my favorite parts of Chance the Rapper's music without the rapping part because I love Chance the Rapper and he is a great rapper, but I love Chance the Rapper when he sings. I think he's an amazing singer. I think he's got a great voice. So this Willis dude is like, okay, take Chance the Rapper singing and isolate that, and that's what you get, and I love it. So I'm a big fan, and I need to look more into his stuff.
Yeah,
As far as like movies and music go, um, well, I went and saw the Super Mario Brothers movie. That was fun. I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That is my new second favorite MCU movie of all time, behind only Endgame. And there are a bunch of movies that are out that I want to see, but June of 2023 might very well be the worst month that I have ever experienced from a financial standpoint. I had a $1,000 car inspection, and then a few days after that, I had to buy a $200 car battery. And that's not even the depth of it. That's just the two biggest things. So it's been a really rough month for me financially. And that sucks, which also translates to not going to see any movies that I want to see. But like right now, I want to see The Little Mermaid. I want to see Across the Spider Verse. I want to see Elemental. Believe it or not, I want to see The Flash.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I want to see Rise of the Beasts, the Transformers movie. My mom and I literally marathon through all 6 other Transformers movies sitting here in the house in preparation to go see Rise of the Beasts. And then, the car inspection's $1,000. Maybe hold off on spending money on things that you don't really need and that you just want.
Yeah, exactly.
So that sucks. Um, what else? Was. Dude, Barry season 4 was this quarter.
Yeah, I did mention that on
Oh, you
my
did?
side of things.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
even catch that you mentioned that.
I listed a lot, dude, so I can't blame you.
Yeah. Secret Invasion we just started. That's been pretty good through 2 episodes.
Yes.
Let's see. Just watched Fired Up with my mom a few nights ago. Might have been last week at this point. Um, John, I know that you mentioned that we were watching the like teen comedy dramedies type movies from the 90s to prepare for not another teen movie. Yesterday my mom and I watched 2 movies actually. We watched I Am Number 4 and Jumper. And bro, I know you and I have watched Jumper before. Have we ever seen I Am Number 4?
I don't think so.
That's a good ass movie. You would like that, I think.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
But yeah, Jumper I watched with my mom last night, and it was nowhere near as good as I remembered it being, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, the main dude in it, the guy that we're supposed to be rooting for, the protagonist, is a fucking dickhead.
Yeah. Don't you hate when that happens?
Like he treats his love interest like a fucking sex object. It's awful.
Damn, that sucks.
Like she literally only exists in his eyes for him to obtain. That's it.
Ew.
Yeah, it's bad.
Anything else?
I'm probably that's why I'm looking. This was my Power Rangers quarter in a big way. Big time Power Rangers stuff this quarter.
Yeah, you even have your own like sub channel in the
I
movies and
do. I
television
have a
on this one.
thread in the movies and television channel. This is funny because it actually started in April. My mom and I started Power Rangers Lost Galaxy back in April. And I've actually kept track of how long it's taken us to get through each season. Lost Galaxy took us 1 week. Lightspeed Rescue took us 11 days. And these are, you got to realize, John, these are like 40 episode seasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Lost Galaxy took 1 week. Lightspeed Rescue took 11 days. Time Force took 48 hours.
Damn.
That was such a good season. It was just amazing. Wild Force took 9 days. And Ninja Storm is like closing in on the 4 week mark because we are just really struggle bussing our way through Ninja Storm. My mom's not into it. I'm not that into it. It's okay, but it's definitely not as compelling as the last 4 seasons for me.
Right.
So yeah, we're about halfway through Ninja Storm at this point. I think our next episode is literally episode 20. So we're actually exactly halfway through it because it's a 38 episode season, and the most recent episode we watched was 19. So yeah, we're halfway through. So that covers the Power Rangers stuff. What other threads are there? Let's see. Last of Us was last quarter. You season 4 was this quarter, I believe.
Yes. Oh my god, dude, that was amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. That just shows you like the difference in doing these like quarterly now. That
Oh
was
no, you
nuts.
know what, dude? It was last quarter. It was just this quarter that I watched it.
Oh, well, still happy for you though, because I was waiting for you forever to watch it so that I could like geek out about it with you.
Yeah. You know what though, dude? What we together, the two of us, did do this quarter was watch Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
We did. That is something that I can't believe, another glaring oversight. Yeah.
So that was fun. That was cool. I'm looking forward to us being able to do Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 probably in August, if I had to guess, given the rate that everything's going. Um, let's see here. What else have we done? I know everyone's excited for Squid Game coming up.
Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on that because I love the first season.
The whole Jonathan Majors thing happened this quarter, I believe.
Yes, and that's still kind of playing out. That should also be interesting to see.
Um, I was sort of officially recognized by my psychiatrist as having ADHD last Thursday, so that's an update in my life. Is I do officially have ADHD. That's a thing.
Yes.
I got a prescription. Hooray! Unfortunately,
Yeah.
the most effective way to treat ADHD is with stimulants, and I have elevated blood pressure, so she couldn't just immediately put me on a stimulant.
Right, right.
So we're gonna see how things go. Um, I'm looking in the movie. Oh, Human Resources season 2 was this quarter.
Right, right. That was actually really good.
It was fucking great as far as I'm concerned. The second half of that season was amazing.
Yeah.
God, the second half of Dave's season, what was it, 4 most recent season?
Season 3.
Yeah, the second half of Dave's season 3 just lived in my head rent free every episode.
Dude, it was incredible.
Dave just being incapable of having a healthy relationship and being decent is unbelievable.
Indeed. His career's still going great though, so, that's the thing, I guess.
Is it?
I mean, he met with Drake at the end of the season, so and that's
Oh,
what he wanted.
that's
So.
what you. I thought you meant real life, like Dave Bird, like real life, like Lil Dicky.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he will finally come out with an album. So people have been demanding it long enough. I don't know, but even that dude, I have a feeling that because of how great the show is, if he would drop an album tomorrow, like people would eat it up. So I'd still say his career it's secure. It's not thriving, but it's secure. But
Right.
yeah, kayfabe Dave, I'd say he's thriving. He met with fucking Drake at the end of the season,
Uh,
so
quick detour into gaming land. I've spent most of my if I've been gaming at all in my free time this quarter, it's been Adventure Communist.
Oh yeah, I have seen the Steam notification that you've been playing that a lot.
Yeah, dude, it's literally I barely even actually do anything in it anymore. I just pull it up 2 or 3 times a day to claim scientists, and sometimes I'll run industries and then I'll buy shit and then I'll close out of it and be done. Like,
Ashton's like, that was a fun time saying those communists on an adventure. I'm good.
I mean, everything's pretty much automated at this point. I just am like in the process of trying to make numbers go up. That's all it is.
There you go. What else you got going on?
Um, I watched Ace Ventura: Pet Detective last Thursday, and that movie holds up incredibly well.
Yeah, you did tell me that. Yeah, I'm glad you remembered that for here.
Yeah, Ace is really fucking smart and almost definitely autistic and portrayed really well. It's unbelievable, honestly.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, I'm just looking through the movies and television channel, by the way, trying to find shit that I talked about. Like, hey guys, I just watched this so that I can mention it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, did you hear, by the way, and this is me asking not just you, John, because I know you've heard, but also our chat, that apparently Margot Robbie and Adam Driver are the current favorites to be cast as Sue Storm and Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four movie for the
Oh
Marvel, for
God,
the
yeah, that's
MCU.
right. Yeah, I know you were thrilled about that.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
Oh, the Wonder Years. Wonder Years. We watched Wonder Years season 1
We actually
over.
got an episode tonight, actually. Yeah, or we
Yeah,
should
we
anyway.
do.
So yeah, that should be interesting.
Stoked about that. Love it. My mom and I started watching Dead City, which
Oh
is
yeah,
a
how is that?
yeah, it's a spin-off of The Walking Dead. It's pretty fucking good so far. I don't have any complaints. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't have any complaints so far that I didn't already have about the original Walking Dead series.
There you go.
Because my biggest complaint about The Walking Dead has always been the inconsistency with which the zombies themselves are written. Like, one moment the zombies will just be fucking dumb and weak and just easily tossed aside without any issue. And then the next thing you know, they're like fucking super zombies where they're like bare fists are like being able to like tear through shit that you would never expect. And like they're smart and they can like, know where people are even though they can't see them and shit. And it makes no goddamn sense. And like even just in the last episode, there was literally one scene at the very beginning of the show where Maggie and Negan were in a building, and some lady on the rooftop of a building across the street throws a zip line over to them, and Negan grabs it, and Maggie's like, "You better go first." And this fucking horde of zombies is in the hallway, slowly creeping towards them. And it takes them so long that Negan has enough time to fucking zip all the way across the street and then fling the fucking thing across back to Maggie, and Maggie has time to get out on the like the balcony and just kind of stand there and like contemplate, like, okay, I'm gonna be okay, and then just kind of fling herself a little bit. And the zombies provided no threat whatsoever. Like it was more of like a ticking clock, but it wasn't even really that tense because of how fucking long it took them. And then later on in the episode, a different character by the name of Armstrong goes into an apartment by busting down the door because the door is locked and he doesn't have a key. So he busts down the door. And when I say he busts down the door, what I literally mean is he makes a hole on the center of the door just big enough for him to be able to fit into. Like the door is still closed. There's just a hole inside of it now. You know what I mean? Like he
Yes.
doesn't knock the door off the hinges. The door is still intact. It just has a hole in it now. And then he fucking blockades it with this big ass, heavy ass, like dresser basically. And then he goes in, and like when you first walk into the apartment, there's the kitchen, and then attached to the kitchen, there's the dining room, and then the next room over is the living room, and then even past that is a bedroom. And it was in the bedroom that this dude had blown his brains out and was laying there dead. And the guy that had just walked into the apartment went over and was like mourning over the guy that had shot himself in the head and was dead. And as he's trying to fucking mourn this dead guy, all of a sudden you hear knocking at the door, and he goes over, and there are fucking walkers trying to get into this apartment, even though he was not in their sight at all. And there was a fucking corpse, which, if you go by season 1 logic, the dead they're not attracted to the smell of the dead. So it makes no fucking sense for them to be trying to break into this apartment at all when he's not visible, and they wouldn't be able to smell him over the smell of the corpse. Like it's just completely illogical. Makes no sense to me
Right.
at all. It pisses me off a lot. God, that was a totally unnecessary tangent, but that's the jar of worms for me as far as Walking Dead goes. It annoys the hell out of me. That is, like I said, my number one complaint about the show.
Yeah.
um, what else did we do this month? Oh, dude. Do you remember? So, in preparation for watching Quantum Mania, we rewatched Ant Man.
Yes.
I freaked out because in Ant Man, you know that moment after, very early on in the movie when Darren is like trying to sell the shrinking tech to like the billionaires, and there's a guy who is like basically telling him like, oh, we need to go back to formula, and they're like, no, this isn't gonna work. And he's just like, well, we'll figure it out. And then he meets him in the fucking bathroom, and the guy's just like, hey, Darren. And that Darren literally just fucking kills him by shooting him with a shrink gun, and it turns him into goop, and then he scoops the goop up and throws it away.
Yeah.
Dude, It turns out he didn't throw it away. He flushed it. But the worst thing is, it's not even toilet paper. It's a paper towel. This man flushed paper towels. What a fucking menace.
Yep.
You don't flush paper towels down the toilet, you piece of shit.
Wow. We were so focused on Thanos, we missed the real threat the whole
I'm
time.
saying, man. I'm saying. Ah.
Oh god. Continue, please.
I went back and rewatched Atlanta season 4, episode 8, which was the episode where they do like a mockumentary on Tom Washington and how he created the blackest movie ever made in the Goofy movie.
That was impressively made for
I
sure.
fucking love that episode, dude. That episode lives in my head rent free. My mom and I had a little bit of. We've actually been watching a lot of recent, or not recent. We've recently been watching a lot of Disney movies. We watched Encanto. We watched Coco. We watched Ratatouille. We literally just watched just the other night. Ratatouille was one of them, and then the other one was the Aristocats. We had like a Paris themed night where we watched those two movies back to back.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. I thought that was really cool you guys did that.
Yeah, The Aristocats is a really beautifully animated movie. Like it's hand drawn animation, and like that, I do miss hand drawn animation, but I also understand why it's not a thing anymore. Like animators don't even get paid enough to make what they already make, and they're doing it the easy way.
Yeah, that is a fair point. Yeah, I wonder if for all those of us who do want to see 2D animation make a comeback, just pay them. Just literally pay them. Just make it.
Please.
Yeah, like everything we want has a material solution. It's literally just end capitalism, do something better, materially meet people's needs, and you'd see culture fucking explode. I guarantee you, if you materially met the needs of animators, you'd see a renaissance of 2D animation. I have no
Yeah.
doubt in my fucking mind. Because I genuinely wonder if you ask them from an artistic standpoint, do you even like how you're doing things now? I guarantee you'd get people to say yes. But if you followed it up with, but do you miss 2D animation and really doing things with that style? I guarantee you'd probably also get a lot of people say, yeah, it would be cool to do something like that. But it just did the cost benefit analysis, like it just doesn't work out. So yeah. But continue.
I just want to say I literally haven't looked in the chat the entire time that you or I have been answering this question because I've been in our Discord catching up on shit the whole time. Literally
Yeah.
just looking back to see like what I've said, I've done, and I just love that Rotten Butter said that marathoning Bayformers sounds like hell.
Yeah.
Dude, the first movie's good. I enjoyed the first movie. The second movie is so bad. And the third movie is better than the second movie, but not by much. And then the fourth movie is not good. And the fifth movie, I already barely remember. And then Bumblebee is great. Bumblebee is so good. It's such a relief. It's like sticking your head above water after being like held under for way too long.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, let's see here. I'm into the middle of May, by the way, so I'm basically into the middle of our quarter here.
Okay.
DBK actually asked us a fun question. He said, uh, if you could turn the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into Power Rangers, who would be what color?
Oh wow.
And I said that Coulson would be the mentor, obviously, because he's not going to be out there in the field fighting like a Power Ranger. May would be the Red Ranger because she's the leader. Ward would be the Black Ranger. Daisy would be the Pink Ranger. Gemma would be the Yellow Ranger. And Fitz would be the Blue Ranger.
All right then.
Is that not perfect, people that follow both?
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't, so I'm not
Yeah,
going
that's
to
a
ask that.
very specific thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that Seth Rollins is going to be in the next Captain America movie, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, happy for him on that.
Definitely. God, let's see here. What else have we watched, Mom? Uh, well, there's some more Dave stuff, so we're closing out of that. I think I'm ready to move on, honestly.
Okay, next Rotten Butter question.
I have to find them. There we go. What's the worst ending to a story you liked at first that you've ever seen?
Game of Thrones.
Yes! That is the exact answer I was going to give to this question. It's so
Uh,
easy.
Only other answer I'd give is Man in the High Castle from Amazon Prime. That ending sucked. And yeah, that was wow. Sorry, Philip K. Dick. So sorry. All right, next question.
I don't know who that is. Um,
Well, the science fiction writer from which the story was based off of, or the
what
show was based on the story he wrote. So,
what is your favorite physical feature about yourselves?
teeth for me because I worked really hard for them and spent a lot of time on them. So, definitely my teeth.
Hmm. I guess I would probably say my eyes. I've been complimented on my eyes multiple times in my life.
Nice.
And not just by family either.
Yeah.
Next question. How many exact copies do you think you would need to take down a grizzly bear?
I'm sorry. How many? What? I'm
How
kind of
many
spacing out.
exact copies of you do you think you would need to take down a grizzly bear?
I mean, I'm literally built different, so one's enough. Grizzly doesn't stand a chance.
I mean, I was gonna say four of me, so that damn you're you're kind of emasculating me out here, man. Jeez.
I'm willing to die just to flex. Tilting. Let's keep going. So you said four. I will give a genuine answer because I'm crippled. I'm gonna say 10. I'm gonna say 10. And even that's probably not enough, but at least it's more honest. But yeah, 10. You said four. Next question.
What would Jesus do?
Literally everything opposite to what the Republicans Jesus is doing. Like, truth be told, even though I'm I don't really subscribe to any religion traditionally, so like I am an atheist in that way, but I don't know. I'm kind of looking at nature and the universe differently, so I'm kind of different that way in my older age. I don't have a problem with Jesus the person. I have a problem with what everybody else has done with his life story. So I'm pretty sure Jesus the person would be like, oh, that hungry person, feed them. That person that's like cold outside, clothe them or house them. That person that's different, getting stones thrown at them, stop that and love them. Embrace them. Like, yeah, completely contrary to Republican Jesus, who fucking sucks ass. So yeah, literally anything humane, kind, and anti-capitalist is probably what they would do. That's probably a reference to something, and I didn't need to make it that, but I did, and we're in it now. So, do you have anything you want to add?
No, you gave the exact answer I was going to give. Next question. What would Batman do?
Probably beat up people rather than get them the rehabilitation they need. Oh, Joker, you're clearly in mental distress, but let me punch you in the face 30 times, and it really won't even do anything
Bro,
good because
Batman really is the ultimate cop, isn't he?
yeah, he is.
Holy shit.
God, he's like slightly just slightly above a cop, like, because
Because he
they
doesn't
need,
kill. That's the thing right there. That's the line.
yeah, yeah, that's his thin blue line. Again, I'm tilting. Let's keep going. We have a good pace. We have a good pace. What's next?
What would Brian Boitano do?
Be in a 90s adult animated comedy movie and be a weird reference that to this day I don't understand and I'm old. So, yeah.
Yeah, I never understood that either. I never even knew who the fuck Brian Boitano was.
I thought it was some kind of figure skater.
Really?
Is that actually correct? Let me I swear to God if that's correct, I'm going to pop, but I don't think it is. Brian.
He's a figure. You're right. You're right. He's an Olympic and professional figure skater. Holy shit.
God, can I just say I would sex my own face? I just wanted to put that out there for the group. Um, Maybe coach a figure skating Olympic. It's not necessarily a team, is it? So maybe just coach an Olympic winning figure skater. Whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, probably. Next.
That was it for Rotten Butter. Let's move on to our next set of questions from Dominique Adams.
Fuck yes. Let's get to the ultimate heel of the group. Let's do this.
Looking back, what would you say was the moment you were hooked to Lucha Underground?
The moment I knew John Morrison was a part of it. But no, that pulled me in. I think what kept me beyond him, because no one person could carry something, was just really the aesthetic. The moment I knew they were doing cinematics and everything else, I'm like, oh, this is different. I think you and I both were like, there's nothing going on in the wrestling scene either in the north or in the or like in the west or in the east that's doing anything like this. And yes, I just think really the aesthetics in a manner of speaking is what hooked me because it just immediately set itself apart from any other wrestling out there.
Yeah, I would say a combination of the aesthetics and the main event of episode 1 being Puma versus Mundo. Like that match was so fucking good, and I felt like we were watching John Morrison unhinged, like unhooked, like unchained even. Like he was unleashed in that moment in that match, and that felt amazing to see.
Absolutely beautifully said. Beautifully said. So next question from Dominique.
Next question from Dominique. Is there any hope for, and he spelled it May, but it's my. Is there any hope for my Sakurai?
No.
Beginning, middle, and end. Next question. If you could add any female wrestler outside of stardom into Queen's Quest, whom would it be?
Athena. I think her attitude right now is perfect for
Ooh.
an older version of Queen's Quest. And if they
I
ever want to go
love
back to
that.
their roots for real, Athena would be fucking perfect.
I do
Athena.
love that. Yeah, that's really nice. That's great.
Not as nice as your face, though. Now you
Oh
provide an
my
answer.
god.
I'm telling
Okay.
you, man, I'm tilting, and it's everybody's problem now. So, like, yeah, put something, do
Okay.
something.
Okay. Just please don't pressure me so hard. Um. Oh. Okay. So we have Utami. She's our powerhouse, right?
Yes.
We have Azumi. She's our high speed girl. We have Kamitani. She's kind of our all arounder. She can kind of do a little bit of everything. Lady C brings the size. Hina brings the books. Miyu brings the cuteness. What are we missing?
Oh God, what are we missing at that point?
A technician.
Yeah, there you go.
We need a really good technician.
Hmm.
Miyu Yamashita.
Ooh, that's interesting. That's spicy. I like that. All right.
No, you know what? That feels too OP. I'm going to back off of that.
Okay, but I still like you're thinking about a technician, so
God, I don't want
hmm.
to go with someone too OP, but I'm so tempted to say Ano, but that's too much. It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah,
It's too much perfection in one group. Um, See, this is where Io would make sense to just come back and fill that role, but and this is where
yes.
Momo came in. Oh God.
Yeah, until she betrayed us all. Fuck you, Momo.
I'm so sad now.
Yeah, not as sad as Azumi was.
No, you're right. You're right. Azumi was definitely sadder than I am now.
Never forgive Momo for that.
I won't either. God, I'm trying really hard to channel all of my Joshi knowledge into this. Maria, that's the answer. Maria is my
Oh
answer.
my God, my forehead just expanded in fucking joy at that answer.
Yes! I
Jesus.
finally came up with it. It's perfect. It's fucking perfect. That's the answer, Maria.
All right, next question.
Our next set of questions is from Kirby Freeman.
Oh my God, I promise not to be spiteful. Let's do it.
First question. Seeing that Micah is hitting on all cylinders right now, should I ask this in Rick voice?
Do it.
See? Oh God, can I? So the Micah. No, I can't do it. I can't do the whole question in that. I can only do him in sound bites. Seeing as Micah is hitting on all cylinders right now, what is the percentage that she beats Tam Nakano for the red belt this year? I'm gonna go high and say 30%.
I was going to say 43.35%.
Whoa, you
Yeah.
went higher than me. I thought I was going really high with 30, and you beat me.
She is on a fucking journey right now, okay? And that journey might lead her and Tamantha to both mutually forearm face. It might happen. Yeah, honestly, given how things have shaken out with 5 star, which I'd love to be able to talk about that more explicitly, if we were caught up on Stardom. Not happening. Sort I'm starting to wonder if you're having your own writer's strike. Because at least if I knew that, I would know what to support here. But yeah, no, Micah Micah is cooking. She is monopolizing the gasoline. You know what I'm saying? So definitely got to be a favorite there. I would definitely put it at the high end, like Ashton said. I know I joked and said 43.35, but genuinely, like I'd say even around 40%. I really think there's a good chance of it. And Kirby's over here. What? I'm thinking more like a 95%. Kirby,
Oh
you
my
adorable little minion.
good lord.
Simmer down. Okay.
You called him
Uh,
a minion because it's his profile picture.
Sometimes I wonder if he's an IRL minion, and it's
I
kind of precious.
love that Kirby in our minds is just an amalgamation of fictional characters.
Yes. But Kirby, I'm going to regret asking this, but inquiring minds, mainly my face, need to know. Where's that other 5%, my guy? Who got that other
Is he a pink puffball, a green felt frog, or a yellow alien in suspenders? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big question. Big question. But no, where's that other 5% going, Kirby? Who's scrounging on that? But yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
the actual answer, Kamitani.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like,
Oh
oh
my
my
sucker.
god.
Oh my.
Oh my. Okay, so he's just being a fucking troll. He's memeing.
Now that's spiteful, Kirby. All right, next question from Kirby.
Seeing that the last few superhero movies that got a theatrical release underperformed at the box office, do you think the genre has run its course?
I think it's always a bit much to say a whole genre's run its course. I just think you need to rework the formula of not introduce new formulas altogether. Um, I think it's possible that people can be fatigued, but I almost wonder if you can overcome that fatigue with just novel ideas. Or maybe I'm too optimistic on that front. What do you think, bro? Because I don't think it's run its course, but maybe it has. Maybe there is superhero fatigue setting in. What do you think?
Call me an optimist, but have you seen the box office numbers for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
I'm guessing they were gangbusters.
I mean, damn near a billion, I believe.
Hey Ezra, that'll never be you.
True, true.
Oh God, I'm really this is my second wind. Holy shit.
I think that
So
me taking so long to answer the first question from Rotten Butter allowed you to rest and find your second breath.
bro, I meditated and found enlightenment while you were still on fucking what was the first month of this quarter? March. I think while you were still on March, I was like, oh my God.
April, sir.
April, when you were on April, I was like, oh my God, I understand everything now. Let me descend from the mountain and rejoin everyone else. But yeah, no, yeah, Ezra, fuck you. Just fuck you. Um,
So, I have a Jeopardy question for you, John.
oh, wait, are we doing this? You didn't submit to Q&A. What? Oh, okay. Ask your Jeopardy question. I'm going to indulge this.
This 1995 rock song
Jeez.
was on the album Deluxe titled Good. Can also apply. Wait, I'm not done. Good, which can also apply to a famous Hollywood actor, also that this band was shares a name with.
Oh, shares a name with. Um, what is what is I don't know. What is it?
Better than Ezra. What is better than Ezra?
Oh my, you did all this for a okay, admittedly it was clever, but wow. I'm sending to your room later. I need you right now, but
I
later. Don't forget that
accept
I
my
need to send you to your room.
punishment.
Yeah, later. And then you watch. I'm gonna forget, and then when we hang up so that we can go to bed, I'm gonna be like, damn it, I never sent Ashton to his room. Ashton, go to your I'm going to bed, so duh. Damn it. You win today.
But anyway, yeah, no, let me see. GOTG3 box office. 832 million.
Wow.
It did pretty good. You know? I mean, it didn't make a billion, but like it's also not like a massive crossover. That's what people need to realize is like what? Not that many movies make $1 billion. Why are we expecting movies to make $1 billion? Why does that have to be the defining success now? Like they spend like 200 to 250 million.
Yeah, I mean that box office is slightly higher than my net worth. Got it in there. I got it in there. Okay. Yeah, no, that's really good though. And
Yeah, like
like still doing great.
like Spider-Man No Way Home made $1 billion. That made a lot of money, but like that was also like everyone knew that they were bringing back, like they even showed in the trailers that they were bringing back Doc Ock, and then they were bringing back Electro, and then they were bringing back like there were all these villains that people loved, especially the Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe, and like there were all the rumors that they were going to be bringing back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, and those paid off. And of course, everyone that went to see it on the opening night was like, "Oh my God, they're in it! They're in it! It's amazing!" So like, yeah, of course that made $1 billion because it was like fucking Avengers Endgame if it was only about Spider-Man.
Yeah, there you go.
So like, but you can't expect every superhero movie to make $1 billion. That's not just gonna happen.
Yeah, you gotta temper those expectations a little.
Yeah. All right, next question. What did you guys think of the Colleen Ballinger apology video?
Didn't see it. Can't answer
I
it.
don't even know who that is. Who is Colleen Ballinger?
Yeah, I have no idea who that is either.
Is that Miranda Sings?
Which, yeah, I'm
It
not
is. That's
familiar
Miranda
with.
Sings. Holy shit.
Oh, wow, I
So
don't know
she
who that
used to
is
be a
either.
cringe YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
What did she apologize for? Did she do or say some shit?
I mean, probably.
Probably, right? Yeah. Apparently, she addressed criticism of some of her older videos satirizing Latina and overweight women, agreeing that they were insensitive and apologizing for having posted them.
All right, well, if it's sincere, we're here for growth, so I've really got nothing to say beyond that.
I mean, oh, never mind. I'm not going to say anything. Next question is who you guys got winning the AFC East? Kirby, something you need to know about John. He doesn't give a fuck about football.
I do not. So Ashton's going to answer, and I'm going to be like, yep, what he said. So who do you got winning the AFC East, bud?
Jets, 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 Jets.
There you go, and I'm about to get on mine and fly the fuck away from that question. All right.
Anyone with the Bills, please. Let it be the Dolphins. I know Kirby's a Dolphins fan. I will root for your Dolphins as long as it's not the Bills. Fuck Josh Allen.
I don't know why. Sometimes when you say for somebody to like fuck off, it tickles me. Honestly, I was taking a sip of water. I was trying to hydrate, and you chose to make an assassination attempt on my person. That's great, though. I love that for you.
I love that back to back. Rotten Butter was like, all YouTubers are cringe YouTubers. Yes, even you. And then Abel was like, so she was the exact opposite type of YouTuber as you guys.
Yeah. Wow, Rotten Butter. Nice to know what you think of all of us. That's great. This is why I don't put butter on my toast. But yeah, thank you, Abel. Always
You just
appreciate
made me
it.
think of Ed and Nettie. You remember how Ed used to always be like, butter toast?
Yeah, I don't really know how that all paid off. I mean, I know there was that episode where all the Eds were each other, and Double D was him, and she kept saying butter toast, and Ed was like, I don't say butter toast all the time. And she was like, gravy then. And then she ended up being taken back to Ed's house because everybody's an idiot and didn't know that they were impersonating each other. And yeah, he got in a tub of gravy. It was low-key horrifying, actually. So there you go. Next
Did you just
question.
refer to Double D as she?
I said he.
Oh,
Might have picked up as she though. But yeah.
anyway. Last question from Kirby, fifth and final. Why don't the commoners get or simply appreciate the greatest of your ladyship, my Sakurai?
No, that's all your question deserves. Anything you want to add? Perfect. Next question.
And our next set of questions is from Alex Foster. First of which is
Fuck yes.
based on the successes of Narita, Shota, and Tsuji, how would you like Yuya Uemura to be positioned when he returns from excursion? So I do want to just kind of jump in here and say, relative to Tsuji, Narita and Shota are not successes. Tsuji is massively successful. Dude's incredible, great look, immediately inserted into the main event scene and matched Sonata's energy and did not feel out of place. Narita and Shota are like mid to undercard dudes. I really like. I really want to make sure that we're all on the same page here as far as like what we're defining success as.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's agreeable to me.
Because like in my mind, Ren Narita is still a fucking young lion. Like you're a young lion doing a Shibata cosplay, in my mind.
Yes, exactly.
And Shota's fine, but like I still take him like he still comes off as very unserious to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I understand that he took Naito like a half hour to beat, but like you still again you're just a young lion doing a Tanahashi cosplay to me.
Yes. Yes.
Whereas Tsuji feels like his own man. He feels like he knows himself. He knows who he is, and he's fucking great.
Yes.
I really hope that Uemura is closer to Tsuji than he is to Umino or Narita.
You would hope. Yeah.
Because Uemura, before they went on their excursions, I always got the impression that Uemura was favored even over Tsuji.
Yeah, I would agree. Orimura definitely feels like he was gearing up to be like a big deal for New Japan or like a pet project of sorts.
Yeah. Yeah, like Uemura was like he always had like next ace after Okada energy when he was a young lion.
Yes, yes.
Like next in line kind of thing. So and he went to Impact, which is the same excursion Okada went on. So it's like continuing the lineage even. Like it feels almost destined that he'd follow in Okada's footsteps, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm hoping that that pans out, but and here's the thing. We would have said the exact same thing that I'm about to say about Uemura, about Okada when he was in TNA. Uemura feels like a bit of a geek in Impact.
Yeah, that's what usually happens, unfortunately.
But again, we would have said that about Okada in Impact too. Fucking Okato.
Oh god. Oh god.
I haven't forgotten.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. Nobody should. No, I won't forget because you didn't forget. Oh god.
So we'll see how they treat him when he comes back. I hope that he is closer to being on or even above the level of Tsuji. I would love that. I would be very happy about that.
Yes.
Second question from Foster: what other wrestlers should star as a character in Peacemaker?
I think just given their like wrestling history, Randy Orton should play a villain. Like even if it's like more of a grounded villain of
Dude, that
like
would be fucking amazing. Like 15 years ago, people are already sick of the Cena versus Orton matches, and you tell them, bro, 15 years from now, they're still going to be feuding, but it's going to be in a Hollywood television show.
yes. Yeah, like I already picture Orton because it wouldn't take that much acting given his Twitter feed. He's just the leader of a right-wing militia.
Oh,
And like
God.
Peacemaker's gonna have to stop it. It's perfect.
And
Writes
Cena
itself.
likes him at first. He's like, oh, I like this guy. I think I have a new friend. And then it turns out he's way further right than he realized.
Yeah, and it's like, oh no, Eagly, I think we made a mistake.
Oh, God, it's like Andrew in Big Mouth when he's angry and ranting about women and finds himself at a Nazi rally.
Exactly. Exactly.
I would have said Batista. I think Batista and Peacemaker would be great.
Yeah, he'd fit really well too.
Especially because we know that his obligations with the MCU are over and he loves working with James Gunn. Makes sense.
Right.
So, we'll see. So, are we ready for our third question from Alex?
Yes.
Is there any food from shows / games / etc. that you've always wanted to try? I just want to jump in here because it's really weird to me how much I wanted to try Krabby Patties when I was a teenager.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
That
I would.
episode with fucking Kevin the guy that hides the pickles under his tongue and gets discounts and shit for it because he just says no pickles.
Yeah.
That guy, that episode though, with SpongeBob having to like go through all the ingredients of a Krabby Patty every time he makes one, made Krabby Patties look so fucking delicious to me.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all, man. I do not blame you at all.
Yeah. What about you?
Foster, since I know you're plugged into anime, I will say literally any dish that was ever created on Food Wars. Um, DBZ as well. Anime makes food look so fucking good. Um, Beyond that, you said any game, movie, or show or whatever. Let me think. I mean, really any cooking show. I've heard FX's The Bear is really good. And then when I think about cooking shows or movies, I mean, Ashton, you watched Ratatouille with your mom, you said recently, so
Yeah.
I'm sure they made good stuff
Well,
there.
personally, none of the food that they made in that movie looked particularly appetizing to me.
Right. Can't really think of anything else though, so I'm just gonna stop there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fourth question: what is your favorite bizarre or so bad it's good wrestling moment or storyline?
So bad it's good? Hmm.
you know what? Since while you're thinking, I'll just go. Lana and Liv being lesbians together.
Yes. Oh, you know what? While I'm thinking, Nikki telling Brie you should have died in the womb, because you and
Oh,
I cackled after that. We cackled after that. So yeah, it's gonna be mine.
yeah, like the whole. This was like legitimately bad, but with hindsight, I can laugh at it. Uh, Bobby Lashley cucking Miro, and then it turning out that Lana was in a lesbian relationship with Liv Morgan the whole time.
Yeah,
What the
that's
fuck was that angle? What the fuck was going on there? Who was in charge? Was that a Paul Heyman thing?
Oh, maybe. I
I
mean,
think
he
it
can't.
was. I
Yeah,
think that was when Paul Heyman was a creative director. Jesus Christ, Paul, what are you doing?
yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oh, Jesus. There were multiple cuckold angles going on in the WWE at the same time at one point because there was that one, and then there was also the fucking Mike and Maria thing where Maria was pregnant and she was going out of her way to be like, "It's not yours, Michael."
Was Vince going through something?
I, I kind of have to wonder myself, man. I don't
Like,
know.
was Linda, while she was running for office, was she making sure she was getting in her extracurriculars? Like, what was going on there? I don't.
Jesus Christ, what a weird fucking era, man. Or oh, what was that? What was it? Oh, it was I think it was during COVID when they had the third hour of Raw be they were trying to do like the fucking shoot fighting thing and they introduced like Dabakato and shit.
Oh yeah. Oh God. Raw Underground, right?
Yeah, Raw Underground. Oh god. See, that wasn't so bad it was good. That was just bad. That was fucking horrendous.
Yeah. God damn.
Oh lord. Any other suggestions, John?
I don't have any. We can move on to the next question.
If you could change the name of a famous invention to your name, what invention name would you change?
God, I was thinking about this question today. And we're fucked. When I'm thinking like, oh, I could just change the light bulb to the alt light because my last name I've changed it to alt min. But then I think alt light, I think like, oh, somebody that's like alt right, but not like hard alt right. So like, I think about that and I'm like, oh, well, that kind of sends a weird signal. So an invention that I would change. I mean, God, they already call toilets Johns. I mean, what more do I fucking want? I don't want to be greedy now. Like. So fuck. I feel like I'm good. I feel like any other change would just cause a lot of confusion, and confusion can lead potentially to harm. So I'd be scared. Is there any invention that could take on your name and it would be an upgrade? What do we got for you, or
You
or is that
know,
also
I
too weird?
had a thought, and I'm just gonna say it, but don't judge
Okay.
me.
Okay. Okay.
As a
Okay.
prank on my dad, because I know that this would humiliate him for life, we would change plungers into pond suckers.
Oh my god. That's amazing. Judge you. Judge you. I'm proud of you. That's amazing. Love that. Love that. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. God damn. I really can't think of an invention that would be, yeah, better with my name. Because again, toilets are already named John's, or that's
Yeah,
like slang for them. And then,
that's
yeah, my
true.
last name that I changed it to, hell, even my old last name, I wouldn't really feel comfortable putting on an invention. So sorry, Foster, I'm gonna have to recede from that one.
our final question, both from Foster and of this Q&A. Are you ready?
We fucking did it. Let's go.
If New Japan did a cinematic match, who would you want involved in it?
Okada would have to be. Cause to me, like, he has that cinematic presence, but I would also say that Tanahashi would deserve to be, because he got the coming to the point where, like, it's shifting to a whole new era. So Okada, Tanahashi, I would reform Suzuki-gun for this just because I feel like they'd be badass in a cinematic setting, especially Suzuki. Um, and when I say reform, I mean taking ZSJ away from his TMDK stuff and Taichi from Five Guys and all that. Um, and if we had Golden Main Sonata, I'd want him in it. It would just be a whole hodgepodge of fucking people, and it'd be amazing. Because if it's cinematic, you can make this whole sprawling wrestling match in the form of a movie. Be fucking incredible for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Um,
Yeah.
God, yeah, I can see it, sort of. Um,
I want to go back like 4 years and do an LIJ versus Suzuki Gun cinematic match.
that'd be fucking dope. So yeah, I guess I'll be the basic bitch and I'll say Okada Tanahashi because they really got New Japan off the ground. Well, I mean, again, Tanahashi stuck around, and then I think those two got it off the ground. Oh, but you know what I would do since you're kind of taking liberties, right? I would say because he had the whole emotional comeback, the ultimate cinematic match. Shibata Okada run it back one last time for the world title, and Shibata wins this time. Because you want to talk cinema,
Ah,
full fucking circle. Shibata's redemption story
I
finally
like
completed.
them.
Yeah, yeah, Shibata Okada, no headbutt. We're not going to get that unless you could fake it with cinema.
Yeah.
That'd be the only way I'd even remotely consider it. And even then, I'm like, no, it needs to be different. Maybe Shibata thinks about it, but he's like, no, I want to win. I don't want to die. I want to live for this. I don't want to die for it. And he turns it around into a sleeper. And then, yeah, he does sickest PK, maybe even right to Okada's jaw. And you could do an effect where, like, spitting out blood. And that's how he gets the fucking win for the title. It'd be amazing. So, yeah, Shibata Okada Ultimate Cinema for the world title. That'd be fucking great.
That's beautiful. But yeah, I would go back 4 years and I would do Suzuki Gun versus LIJ when they were both pretty much like at their best because it would be like Naito, Sonata, Evil, Shingo, Hiromu, maybe Bushi, I don't know, versus like Suzuki, Zack, Taichi, Desperado, Kanemaru. I don't know who else. Maybe Doki. I don't fucking know. I mean, if Bushi's in it, Doki can be in it too, I guess. But mostly the 5-on-5 is what I would want it for, and that would just be like we would do like a like Anarchy in the Arena type shit, but cinematic.
Yes, yes, I can dig it.
All right,
All
are we
right.
good to go here?
I think we're good to go. So thank you guys so much for
Alrighty.
joining us. Please leave a like if you file out, subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any of that troll goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. And for Q&A, let's talk about that because these are quarterly, so the next one will be in 3 months. So the next Q&A is September 28th. So again, Patreon donors, you
Wow.
get up to 15 questions. And what do non-Patreon donors get? Just so I
10.
remember that. 10. So you get 10. That's still a lot of people. That's still we answered 70 questions here. So yeah, September 28th will be our next Q&A. I'll switch out the pinned tweet. That's one place where you can submit questions, or you can submit them in the Q&A channel in our Discord, which is why it's a great reason to be in our Discord. Costs only $3 a month. I'd call that a steal. So yeah, check that out in the description box below. And as far as actual coverage, if Stardom gets a show up, we'll see you guys. What did we say, Ashley? We said 5, or would it be 4? I guess Friday because we want to meet up with the group because
4.
I know we have
If
Discord.
Stardom
But
goes up tonight, it'll be 4 tomorrow.
I figured, yeah. So it's 4. Then Discord from 8 to 10, and then 11:30 will be preview and predictions for Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank, and then we're
Yes.
live right into that 3 p.m.
Yep.
Sunday. So yeah, we got a stacked rest of the week. Even more so if Stardom gets on their stuff, which I would definitely prefer them to. So, yeah, guys, be sure to tune in for all that. Discord members, be sure to come and join us for games or just chill. Sometimes we don't get enough people for games, so it is just chill. And we'll see you all then. Be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in. Peace out.